In today's rebuild, we're going to be taking over the New England Patriots. New England has pulled the plug on the Mac Jones era and then landed elite quarterback prospect Drake Maye with a third overall pick in the 2024 NFL Draft. Optimism may be high, however, the roster outside of Drake Maye is pretty terrible. So in this rebuild, we're going to aggressively try to improve the skill positions early to help and aid the development of Drake Maye becoming that franchise quarterback. And along the line, we end up finding arguably the greatest pass rusher in New England Patriots history. With all these things combined, can it put this team on the next 10 years on a dynasty trajectory, winning multiple Super Bowls? Let's find out. Patriots 2024 NFL Draft looks pretty solid on paper. I might not be the biggest fan of some of their day 3 picks, but in the second round, getting Jalen Polk out of Washington, coming off an 1,100-yard, 9-touchdown season, was pretty damn good value. But no player more important to the Patriots 2024 NFL Draft than landing Drake Maye, the quarterback out of North Carolina, who draws a lot of comparisons to Justin Herbert. This is a guy that is a dual threat, can make plays with his legs, has a cannon of an arm, and all the upside in the world to be a true Tom Brady successor for the New England Patriots. Boy, oh boy, are the Patriots lucky the Washington Commanders let them get Drake Maye. Take a look at the Patriots offense in 2024. I'm going to be completely honest with you. Everybody but Drake Maye makes me sad. You know, we got an all right 1-2 punch in the backfield, I suppose. The offensive line is average at best. I mean, Owenu's solid, but I mean, you are still a 6'3" right tackle. I love the Canadian City Sow. I mean, Strange does have a dev trait, but we gotta figure out left tackle. Andrews is getting up there in age. Hunter Henry's pretty much at his ceiling. Juju Smith-Schuster's a role player, pretty much at his ceiling. Demario Douglas maybe got a little bit of upside. KJ Osborne coming over from the Vikings with a dev trait. Jalen Polk needs to step up, but to be completely fair to the Patriots offense, I'm worried that just the lack of help is going to hinder Drake Maye's development. So, I mean, at least in this rebuild, very quickly, we are going to try to get him more help. Defensively, it's a little bit better, right? Jerod Mayo, head coach, defensive head coach, which again kind of makes you a little worried about Drake Maye. It's not like the Patriots have some quarterback guru of a head coach. They got Van Pelt, who has worked with Aaron Rodgers, so maybe there's something there. But at least the defense looks solid. Barmore is coming off a breakout season. I think Keon White has a lot of upside. Matt Judon, the veteran. They got Taki, who rolls with a dev trade. Tavai is playing good football. Kyle Duggar's a beast. Jabril Peppers is playing great football. Mapu is a great third option there as well. I think the key piece here overall on the defense is Chris Gonzalez, an absolute superstar prospect of a corner. Surprised he lost his superstar dev off an injury, but there was a point in time, and he absolutely was right up there in the conversation for Defensive Rookie of the Year last season until he got hurt. A height, weight, speed, perfect, built-in-a-lab type corner, and we're going to need to try to get him up to an X factor under Jerod Mayo's tutelage. Well, here we go. Demario Douglas. It's going to be very tough going up against Sauce Gardner in his first ever professional game, but Drake Maye wheeling and dealing to the dynamic slot wide receiver on the opening drive. Not a bad first career touchdown. Ooh, tough contested grab right on Sauce. Let's go, TikTok boy, Juju. Jalen Polk looking for his first career touchdown. Throw it right in on the linebacker. And there's the hat trick for Drake Maye. And we end up putting them away. First game of the Drake Maye, Jerod Mayo era. And we go against a very good playoff contender, divisional maybe favorite with a healthy Aaron Rodgers Jets. And we cook them. I do think we need a fire sale a little bit. I'm looking more so on the defensive side of the ball. We don't have much talent on the offense. So even the guys that could get us some solid value, I think keeping him here so we have some form of talent around the development of Drake Maye is very important. However, on the defensive side of the ball, we got Dietrich Weiss, who the Bengals showed some interest in when I threw him up on the trade block. So I packaged a 5th and 7th round pick on top of Weiss to get a 4th from the Bengals. This trade here, I could have taken the Raiders to town a little bit more. I threw up Jabril Peppers on the trade block, and they offered me Michael Mayer and a 3rd round pick. I was like, that's just not going to happen. Peppers is 29 years old. So what I was able to do was just, we'll get rid of the pick. And I feel like when you look at the Raiders, they drafted Brock Bowers, so Michael Mayer, 75, 23 with a star dev. Is a little bit of a surplus requirement if they want to look to improve elsewhere. Desperately need to address the DP position for the Raiders. So I think this trade makes a lot of sense for both teams. I think if we did also take that 3rd round pick for the Raiders, I'd feel bad for doing so and slapping the realistic tag on this video. So we'll take this type of trade. Good business for both sides. And by moving Peppers, it gave us an avenue for Marty Mapu to start. We are not a good enough team that players with dev traits shouldn't be playing, especially players that are under 25 years old. So Mapu now, we're going to promote him to our starting free safety. He's 5 years younger than Jabril Peppers, so I think that's going to be huge for the long-term health of this defense. The biggest trade piece of them all, which I think he's one of the most underrated pass rushers in the league. An awesome player. However, we are very far away from contending. And I've already come up with an idea of a trade scenario, which we're going to take advantage of. We get some ridiculous offers. Cortland Sutton, that's actually probably kind of realistic because he's also a player that's on the trade block. But a move that I think is too good for us to pass up on for the sake of this rebuild. With the idea and premise, number one here in year one, is building some freaking weapons around Drake Maye that don't exist right now. Nico Collins, I think, is a sneaky trade target. The same way that I think T. Higgins has been a sneaky trade target from the Cincinnati Bengals. Just no one has been able to come around for an offer. I did the gentleman thing and didn't finesse a third-round pick from the Raiders with the Jabril Peppers trade. However, I'm going to cash in a little bit of that positive karma and go out here and get Nico Collins, who wants to get paid. He just saw the Texans bring in Stephon Diggs. He still has yet to get paid. So word is probably on Houston that you're here for one more year, and then you're going to move on. We're going to give an opportunity to get some stability while the Texans get an S-tier pass rush. Judon on one side, Danielle Hunter on the other. Do I want to take that trade, though? I think we should try to help make it a little more realistic than that. So on top of Matt Judon, I'm going to say keep your picks, and we'll give you some more picks to make this a little more realistic. We're throwing in a third-round pick this year, our fourth-round pick next year, as well as a seventh-round pick this year on top of Matt Judon for Nico Collins, which is gigantic trade and a gigantic piece of business for the Patriots. However, risky deal, because unlike the Texans, who are unwilling to even enter the table of negotiations with Nico Collins, especially after the Stephon Diggs trade, we just traded pretty big and considerable assets for a guy that is out of contract at the end of the season. So now it becomes a top priority that we find a long-term deal with Nico Collins. And with that trade of Judon, much like Peppers leaving, opens a door for Mapu. We have Josh Uche, who's a very solid, still upsidey pass rusher here out of Michigan. 25 with a dev trade. He now gets to start, and he's also in a contract year with a great opportunity to earn himself a payday here in New England. I am trying, yes, I am, yes, yep, I am trying to wear this hat more ridiculous almost every time I do face cam. But we are at the midway point-ish of year number one, and the Maye-led era of the Patriots in year one, 6-3, coming off a gigantic upset week 10, 24-21 over the 49ers. Now, this is a team with a stupid amount of salary cap, so we're going to spend it as such. David Andrews, I don't know if I would say he's a Patriot legend, but a stalwart, only look for a 1 year, kind of saves us and lets us kick that can down the road of trying to find a center for one more season. We got Christian Barmore, who absolutely is deserving of a new contract. Maybe not this expensive, but where else are we going to spend them? If he keeps that dev trade, it's going to be worth that contract. If he loses that dev trade, especially really after this season, that's going to be very, very disappointing. Nico Collins, you don't just trade for this guy without plans of paying him. 5-year, 53 is honestly a steal, I still think. I think now as a wide receiver one, bona fide wide receiver one, doesn't need to compete with Stephon Diggs, doesn't need to compete with Tank Dell. I think we can start upping those dev traits a little bit and make that contract look very good and age gracefully. Devise another interesting player. He's kind of getting classified as a pass rusher here, but he's kind of like a hybrid, kind of like the Kyle Van Noy, I assume. So we'll keep tabs on him. I'll be interested to see where his production's at the end of the season. I think the same goes for Ramondre Stevenson. I love the fact that he's interested in re-signing here, but I got to see and get the vibes of what the rushing offense is going to look like here in New England. If he has a hell of a year, and I feel like he is the reason why we had a hell of a year, that's reasonable. Absolutely reasonable. He's only looking for 3 years. Keep him right to his prime where he's about to, start to regress at 29. Happy with that. But if the Patriots give us vibes like any running back will put up like the 1,000 yards and 10 touchdowns, you just can't pay that position. There's simply no really way to work around that, unfortunately. But there are definitely some teams. Saw it with the Cleveland Browns rebuild we just did. Nick Chubb elevated that offense, but then kind of everyone else copy and paste 1,000 yards. So we got to be smart with how we spend this gigantic money, and I think Stevenson and Tavai need to earn it this year. Unfortunately, to close out the year, we kind of crash and burn a little bit and likely reach even the most optimistic Patriots fan ceilings, I think, in 2024. 9-8, going above 500, but it is a very competitive AFC East. Pros defense looked all right. Passing offense, top 10, almost a top 10 offense overall. Now, unfortunately, we didn't have any award winners, but still doesn't damper what was a pretty good season. It was 4,000 yards, 28 touchdowns, 11 picks for Drake Maye. Pretty good starting point considering, it's a work in progress, this offense, even with the trades that we made. That is why we did not pay Ramondre Stevenson. That is not, we could find a running back elsewhere, be it free agency that's cheaper, or we just stick to a strategy of drafting a running back every 4 years. In terms of passing offense, 1,100 yards, 11 touchdowns for Demario Douglas in the slot, 1,000 yards, 5 touchdowns for Nico Collins, 7-4 from Michael Mayer, which might put him in top 5 for tight end for a look. Keep an eye on that to be a sneaky dev trait. I don't know yet. And Jalen Polk, solid, respectable year for the second-round pick, really as our 4th receiving option, 51 catches, almost 700 yards, and 5 touchdowns. Defensively, Bentley, tackle machine, 109 tackles, 7 TFLs. We got 8 sacks, 13 TFLs on 75 tackles for Uche, 17 TFLs, 8 sacks for Barmore. So I would say at worst, that should be enough to sustain his superstar dev. But our pass rush outside of those two guys, non-existent. We got to correct that. 3 picks there from Marcus Jones. Wow, none for Christian Gonzalez. That is a bummer. The legendary Lawrence Guy Sr. has retired after 14 years. So Tavai and Stevenson both didn't really earn themselves a new contract. We have a 5th-year option on the table for Cole Strange, which we will pick up. But other than that, man, we are going to free agency with a lot of money and willing to spend it. Recapping where our offense is at after year 1. We got a dev trade increase for Demario Douglas, going from normal up to a star. Michael Mayer. Hell yeah, man. That trade is aging incredibly well with the Raiders. Thank you for taking Brock Bowers as Michael Mayer makes the jump from star up to superstar. Let's be honest, he's a classic Patriot tight end. And, of course, Drake Maye. Could only imagine if the opportunity, if he won Offensive Rookie of the Year, to get that bumped up to an X Factor. But I think a superstar dev is an outstanding spot for the young quarterback. I think going into free agency, we could potentially explore running back, but I do just feel like rookie running backs is going to be the way to go. We could even run Gibson for 1 year, and then once we get to the Madden Generate draft classes, look at a running back there. Definitely want to try and find ourselves a left tackle, be it in free agency or the draft. If there's a really good one in free agency, though, we have an insane amount of salary cap. I'm willing to spend it there. Defensively, 3-4 DN, D tackle, corner, linebacker could get a little bit of love. To be honest with you, we could spend wherever if there's a good BPA scenario. All right, I tried to make a couple moves. Didn't get any of it. So I tried to get Khalil Mack on a Rendell. Didn't get him. I tried to get a gadget player. So I overthought something here, which could have worked. I wanted to sign Wan'Dale Robinson. I was going to move him to running back because I know he's one of those players. Gets a gigantic bump up when you just move him to running back. He kind of flipped us the bird there a little bit. There was nothing really great at tackle. Jedrick Will was there, but he's been signed so much, it's kind of boring. So honestly, I think at this point, with all of our money, we'll get Garrett Bowles on a 1 year, and that will be our free agency. Okay, so we're at pick 12. Pause the board here because pass rush is easily my top target of the first round. We pick at 17, and let's just say all of the guys that I've wanted so far have kind of come out the board. I want Abdul Carter. I think I'm getting pretty worried that he's going to be gone. So I think it's time to make a couple calls. So we're going to move 5 spots. It cost us our 7th this year, but mostly a 3rd round pick next year, which is probably appropriate value for 5 spots. Outside of the top 10 for sure. And with that, the New England Patriots going into the pass rush market. Abdul Carter brings that elite versatility as well. Originally enrolled at Penn State, big-time athlete, played middle linebacker. Then they moved him outside to edge for this upcoming college season, so I'm just projecting that he's going to translate very well. We got 4 A's across the board. Elite speed, acceleration, jumping. One of those classic Penn State athletes. Let's freaking go. Next up, I'm going to look at what could be, we got to make the right call here for who's going to be the best running back. No one really knows. It's kind of wide open. I think the running back that's going to enter college football next year with the most hype is going to be Nicholas Singleton. The running back out of Penn State, only 20 years old, 225, runs a 4.4. All looks pretty good. Donovan Edwards. I'm a big Donovan Edwards white. I think he absolutely fits the profile of a Patriot running back. kind of encapsulates Bill Belichick here because he can catch, he has the juice, he can run through the tackles. It's all about who has the higher, like Martinez, but he gets him off the field. Is he the Patriot way kind of player? I think we keep it at Penn State. I think we go all in with Penn State. We get the dev trait. That's all that matters. Here's a look at our draft recap. We finish out round 4. We get Marek McNeil, who's a D tackle. We're going to kick in the right defensive end. We got Emory Jones. Great rating. 71 in the 4th round. Only normal dev, but maybe considering him potential left tackle. We only signed Garrett Bowles on that 1 year. But Singleton, 75 hidden dev. He's going to be our day 1 starter at running back. And Abdul Carter, very excited to see if he can get after it in the pass rush and become a reliable. I don't just want to say he's going to become a double-digit guy. He needs to become a reliable double-digit pass rusher in this scheme. So the midseason, the point here of year number 2, 4-6, which in one hand is not 100% where I want it. I would say slightly behind schedule, but we're only a game back in the AFC, so luckily no one's really dominating. But I will say we have an insane amount of salary cap spot. We have easily the most in the league. So I think we're at a point where we have to look at where our roster's at from how much we're paying right now and understand that being about 500 with half of our freaking salary cap still to spend. Like, we are a very cheap roster, and that I think reflects how complete our roster is. Ergo, it's very incomplete with all this salary cap. So I think that's important to consider when you look at where our success is at here in year 2. But all that being said, we got plenty of money to throw around. And I think we got David Andrews looking for a 1-year deal as well. I mean, again, just kind of a Band-Aid, one less position. We have to draft a day 1 starter. Garrett Bowles, I'd bring back on a 1 year as well, but there's zero interest. I don't really want to overpay him. Bentley's been here for a minute, but I think that regression over that 4-year is going to be rough. Taki's at his ceiling. Juju is buried in our depth chart. I think Josh Uche makes some sense here a little bit. Starting pass rusher for us this year, and the fact that we can get him pretty cheap on a 2-year deal. We'll lock into that. I think he's probably close to his ceiling. That's why I'm not looking for much longer. Marcus Jones, very solid slot corner for us. Also gives us some special teams ability. So I think we come here with a 4-year, $17 million deal. We handle business, and we still have an absolute war chest to spend in free agency. All right, I'm going to be honest with you. We're going to shake things up this offseason. I'm going to keep Drake Maye in because he's part of that Belichick tree, but we are going to be going to a 4. I'm over it. I am over 3-4 defenses in this sim. We have an outstanding defense. We should have an upsidey defense. And they're 2 straight years of absolute garbage. And I found out, obviously I tried to explain it a little bit here, that the 3-4 sim defense is all screwed up. Like you're right, like basically like this right end doesn't get any stats. And if you want your right end to get stats, which we do because it's Keon White developed, you have to play him a D tackle. And then, like, you know, I've had enough. I'm done trying to find ways to make the bullshit 3-4 work. All right? It's the worst thing going. And I will try every team that I rebuild that is a base 3-4 IRL going into 2024. I'll give them 2 years to prove that they're not terrible. But if they suck, I'm just not going to have a terrible formation cannibalize the dev traits on my team. All right? I'm not going to do it. All right? Well, can't win with them. Cue up the Singletary. Won't win with them. Can't win with them. Not doing it 3-4. We're going to a 4-3. But even all that being said, don't let it get twisted. We still had some great individual performances. Drake Maye in his 2nd year in the league gets some MVP considerations. And he finished 4th in yards, 6th in touchdowns. So what we're using the Cleveland Browns offense because the current OC, Van Pelt, is from the Browns. And it's been pretty good. 4,100 yards, 34 touchdowns, 10 picks for May. We were also blessed with Offensive Rookie of the Year going to Nicholas Singleton. Defensive Rookie of the Year going to Abdul Carter, Penn State cleaning up. Singleton went for 1,200 yards rushing and threw in another 10 touchdowns. Looking on the defensive side, a lot of tackles there going to Bentley, Taki, and Jones. Barmore, 19 TFLs, 8.5 sacks, 7.5 for Keon White, 7 for Abdul Carter on 12 TFLs, 70 tackles. Checks out. That looks like a Defensive Rookie of the Year stat line. As far as receiving is concerned, I mean, I'm happy Nico Collins, he's a guy that I would love to see chase that superstar dev. Jalen Polk, almost 900 yards, 5 touchdowns. Almost 900 yards, 8 touchdowns for Douglas. Respectable year at a Mayor. I think enough to at least maintain That superstar, not regress, 52 catches, just under 700 yards, 6 touchdowns. In the year, just keeping tabs on the Super Bowl as the Dolphins in the division always sets a little bit of a rivalry there. Luckily, unluckily, they lose to the Cowboys, so at least we don't have to deal with a team within our own division win the Super Bowl. As we look at dev trades, Nico Collins gets the bump up to superstar. Nicholas Singleton gets the double increase here with the Offensive Rookie of the Year and the superstar dev. Not automatic, and I've actually kind of found as of late, not as automatic as it used to be. I don't know if that got nerfed, but kind of is what it is. Michael Mayer keeps on his superstar. Demario Douglas keeps his star. Drake Maye, most importantly, finishing as an MVP candidate, gets himself an X Factor upgrade as well based off of his finishing, top 5 in yards and touchdowns this season. On the defensive side, a quick preview of kind of how we're going to line up, I think, in our 4-3. I take Mapu from safety, free safety. It kind of creates a need there. But I think he's almost an 80 overall when you move him down the linebacker. Got a massive -3 right now. But we're going to need to replenish the linebacking room there a little bit. Carter, winning Defensive Rookie of the Year, also got a dev trade. I thought that was going to be a little less likely, but he won it overall. Look at that, got the double bump up there, plus 15K XP and a superstar dev, so I'm not going to complain. You know, we can use as much star talent on the defensive side of the ball as possible. Not the only dev trade increase, though. On this new look defensive line, Barmore is up to an X Factor, which is pretty good because, he's getting close to his ceiling. So now, like this year, next year will probably be the last 2 years for him to really, really jump up in terms of his base overall and chase that 90 overall, which I think he has a ceiling of do so. He's pretty much an 88 overall as we close out this season. So we were incredibly active in free agency this year by our standards and still have an absurd amount of salary cap room. We got Rasheed Walker on a 2-year deal at left tackle. Limited ceiling because there's no dev trait, but he's still 26.79. Had a lot of interest in joining the team. Is a scheme fit at a position of need. And by the time he's 28, 29, look for his next contract. It's going to be kind of easier to dump him. And that gives us more time to draft, say, a hidden dev lineman that can eventually be our franchise left tackle for the remainder of the rebuild. Or our first-round pick, Daxton Hill, has kind of regressed, lost his dev trait. So we're going to see if a fresh new team could kind of open things up for him to play back there as a starting free safety, 25.79 normal dev with Kyle Duggar. And Nakobe Dean, obviously we're retooling the linebacking core. We need 2 new starters to put with Mapu. So we're going to get Dean on one side, and we got the star dev, Malcolm Rodriguez, on the other. All these guys on relatively short-term deals. So we're on the clock at pick 10 in the first round. Best player on our board by far is the center, Carl Stanton, who's likely going to be available in the second round. I do not want to spend a top 10 pick. I focus scout at corner, and this might be the first year in 7, I don't even know if it's 80. Well, just to throw it out there to be underselling it, this is probably the first rebuild in 100 seasons that has had this bad of a corner class the year that I need a corner. Arsenal looks like the best of the bunch, but even then, man, it looks like I was focus scouting some of these guys that look like they could be solid, and that I don't think there's a single good player. So I think right now, easily the best decision for us. See what kind of value you can get for a top 10 pick. And literally all these offers are like first and seconds. You know, look at that, a first in 2028, and then out of nowhere, Howie Roseman of the Philadelphia Eagles offer us pick 28, which is a great sweet spot to probably draft that center, even if it's a slight overdraft. And we get a first round next year and a third round next year. Easy decision here for the Patriots. Still there with pick 28 in the first round. Not a sexy position, but Andrews has regressed immensely this offseason. He was like a 77 star. Now he's like a 73 normal. So when you get a guy that's clearly, athletically speaking, not my favorite combine, but the letter grades, A run block, you always look for traits. Kyle Stanton should have a dev. He doesn't need day 1 starter for us. Right at center. Should be here for the next 10 seasons. We're going to stay on the offensive line. There's a D tackle I really like. But I have Cole Strange coming up in a contract year. He's going to be 29. I feel like, athletically speaking, top 5 3-cone, 20-yard shuttle, bench press, just outside the top 5, elite, change of direction. This feels like a dev trait lineman. I will show you the D tackle that has maybe better traits. But I think I'm more inclined to re-sign Keon White, who now is moving to D-tackle, than I would Cole Strange. Ergo, it makes sense to peak. But Nicholas Cheeks, great name, A-tackle, has the A finesse move, and he's your classic sub-300-pound D-tackle to put up elite speed, ran a 4.7. The bench press ain't too bad. The 3-cone and 20. Like, he's a guy I want to come back and check out and see. We do not have another pick till the 6th round So I think we're going to make the right call by going with the lineman here. But if there's just a normal dev, I'll be a little disappointed because I bet that D tackle has hidden. And with our final pick in the 7th round, I don't even know if we need a kicker, but it looks like we got ourselves quite the kicker roll. So, I mean, it's cheap. A, kick accuracy, Eric Gomez. A, awareness. Elite kick power. He's got to be a chance of being one of those freaky 86 guys, but like at minimum, his floor is probably like 77. And likely he's going to be one of the best kickers of all time. Look at our draft recap. Carl Stanton. So essentially, we did get our first round pick. We got Stanton and a first round pick next year from the Philadelphia Eagles. It's Stanton, 76 with a hidden dev. Hale, 75 normal. Not brutal. Definitely not brutal whatsoever. Really like chasing the dev trait there. I went pure speed in the 6th round, 95, 95, no dev. And Gomez, 79 hidden dev. I'm going to guess probably a superstar dev kicker. We could, I do always want to try to keep tabs on teams within our division and see if they crushed it. Daryl Tyson, 77, probably hitting. Oh, only normal. All right, they're a little disappointed with that draft pick. We also need to take a look here at the Dolphins. And what did they get? They got a safety as well, 76, Dion Hicks. And lastly, the Jets within the division. A couple 70s. Look at that, 76 linebacker in the 3rd round. Hell of a pick, Robert Saleh. Hidden dev as well. But for me, I need to see Mr. Cheeks. I think probably would have gone here in the 2nd round. He did. 74. So we passed on a 75 normal. Or we took a 75 normal guard. And Nicholas Cheeks, 74 hidden dev. Just be a star. If it's a star, these things happen. If this is something better than a star, he had... Fuck! We've sitting right near the midway point of year 3. And I'm going to say this. Our team, the starting point, clear rebuild, right? Needs a lot of work, both offense and defense. Where are my dev trait scenarios? Usually by this time, when I have a team with this many normal dev players, this many just star dev players, I've at least had 4 or 5 dev trait scenarios to try to hit, try to grow in development. I've got 1. Look at our war chest. I know it's way too early to be thinking that far down the road, but we're in a good spot when it comes time to pay Drake Maye, I think. Up first, we got City Sal. I'm going to show a little Canadian bias and lock him up just for 2 years. Keep him for his prime. Not going to be overpaying him. Not going to be outstaying his welcome. Keon White, if there was interest to re-sign him, I would keep him. I will say if it's production, because he's starting at D-tackle, looks pretty good at the end of the year. Maybe we can revisit. I've already drafted your replacement, Mapu. How about we get the guys that want to re-sign here? We'll go Michael Oweno, keep him for the rest of his prime, 3 seasons, keep till he's 31. Might actually get another contract with us. I'm very frustrated. All 3 of these guys are going to make me come with a big offer. So we come with a 4-year, 34 mil for Mabu to get him locked up. It's an appropriate price range for a guy that I think still has some upside here at middle linebacker. 4-year, $33 million for Douglas. Still affordable. I think just the issue is these homegrown guys that I'm developed from the ground up. I was hoping there'd be a little bit of a hometown discount, and unfortunately we're playing full market value. A gigantic 5-year, $70 million deal for our superstar tight end that we traded for from the Raiders, who showed no faith in us, taking him away from that poverty franchise and giving an opportunity to flourish here. Just not buried behind the depth chart behind Brock Bowers. And the way he rewards me is taking me to town for his contract. Unfortunately, it comes off a loss, 17-7 against Green Bay. But we finally have a breakout scenario, and it's Mapu, who just signed a contract extension. Let's see if we can get him up to superstar. We get a dub, not only a dub, 38-13 over our bitter divisional rival, Drake Maye and Abdul Carter, both getting players of the week. But all eyes shift towards Marty Mapu, who just signed a 4-year contract extension at linebacker. Are we going to have a superstar? Ah, come on! Much like the depth trade scenarios, players of the week have been very few and far between. So even here in year 3, we need to recognize greatness when it happens. For this team that's trying to figure it all out, shout out Abdul Carter with a 4-sack player of the week performance. Oh look, surprise, surprise! Change the defense around. Literally all I did was move to a 4-3, and we have the #1 defense in the NFL. I just abolished 3-4 defenses in Sim. And I know there's going to be times we're planning on rebuilding all remaining teams from the fallout of the 2024 NFL Draft. And there's going to be multiple 3-4 teams that I already know. I'm just going to lose my mind until it's time to switch over to a 4-3. Offense was outstanding. 12-5, our first AFC East divisional title. And, you know, for any of these rebuilds that we're using quarterbacks, the big quarterbacks from the 2024 draft, we've already done the Bears with Caleb Williams. Go check that one out. That was our first 10-year rebuild because we didn't really need to wait for the draft to happen. We knew that was happening. But eventually, we got the Drake Maye one now. We're going to have Jaden Daniels' Commanders rebuild coming up. Probably Michael Penix, Falcons, Bo Nix with the Broncos. Maybe we'll have a little fun Spencer Rattler on the Saints. Even though we did a Saints Arch Manning rebuild. Go check that one out. But for like a lot of these first rounders, I want to get that first Super Bowl while they're on the rookie contracts. It's just going to become that much more difficult, say year 6 and on, once you pay them, assuming that they're going to be great to have traits, $300-some million to win that. So I want to get one out of the way. Maybe we can strike fire, be a little bit of a Cinderella team, worst to first type deal here in year 3. Drake Maye, another stellar season just outside the top 5 for MVP voting. And he was 8th in yards, 4th in touchdowns on the season. 4,000 yards passing, 37 touchdowns, and only 6 picks. Of course, the lineman that I've decided to move on from wins lineman of the year. Of course, shout out Abdul Carter, runner-up for D lineman of the year. Oh man, 3-4. I think I went Bills. I didn't go Super Chiefs. I didn't go like Cowboys. I didn't go Chiefs. Bills has been reliable for me. Man, oh man. So we got 141 tackles, 12 TFLs, 2 picks from Apu, all over the place. 19.5 sacks on 23 TFLs for Abdul Carter, 10.5 for Barmore, 7 from Keon White, who I think with this season has probably played himself into a contract. I said, wait and see. I saw all I need to right there. That might be superstar depth. We might not, regret not extending him earlier. Uche with a respectable year. Interceptions aren't brutal, but way better than what they have been. God bless the Bills. So, a bitter rivalry matchup here in the wildcard round. 12-5 Patriots, 10-7 Jets. And the Jets are sneaky good. Top 10-ish offense, top 5 defense. Not an easy role here for the Patriots in our first playoff appearance. But we're able to go in and handle business. Very surprised we didn't get a performance of the week there. 2 seed, 30 bomb. Usually that goes hand in hand. 225, 2 touchdowns. Drake Maye, Singleton with almost 100 yards and a touchdown. Nico Collins popping off. And on the defensive side of the ball, Uche and Carter with sacks. You love to see it. For that win, we got Anthony Richardson, Jonathan Taylor, and the Indianapolis Colts, who also are pretty damn good. Top 6 offense, top 10 defense. I think it's going to be worth here upgrading our players here to make sure we get the fullest offense that we could get with Drake Maye. We are just pumping the points right in there to field general with the boost. We have quarterback guru. That was the whatever default OC is from the Patriots when you start. So that's a solid role there. And we got Drake Maye obviously playing like a quarterback that when it comes time to pay him, he is going to be $450 million. So we got to keep that in mind this upcoming offseason. All these off seasons that we see $100+ million available cap. We don't really have that, right? We got probably a third of that of available funds because, we got to worry about Drake Maye. We don't want this to be one of those rebuilds where we just lose talent every single year because we spent irresponsibly before we played the quarterback. But let's go, trying to win in the window. Let's ignore who we're playing and appreciate the fact that we are a win away from a Super Bowl appearance. 28-14 over the Colts. Reigniting a flame there. What? Why? Oh, why, Madden? Come on. You still, trade him. Oh, that's disrespectful. That's what they deserve to lose. Absolutely deserve to lose there. 300 yards, 2 touchdowns for Maye. You love Nico Collins, another very strong performance on the defensive side of the ball. Got after it. Latu, big pick there for the Colts. He crushed it, Barmer with a sack, but we are a cheat code win away from a Super Bowl. Now, you ever want to play the Chiefs, it's always kind of like a rip the Band-Aid off kind of deal. Their defense not that great. Like, easily, you look at the rankings, we are probably the favorite, but it's the Chiefs. So, you likely got to take this one on the chin, understand that we're ahead of schedule, and thank them for the opportunity. Thank them for the ass whooping. Why are they so hard to beat? Surprise, surprise at the Super Bowl champs. Shocking development. So we're going to pick up the 5th-year option on Drake Maye to start the offseason. Cole Strange actually didn't. I think he probably went up superstar and then regressed down to a star. But Keon White is a guy interested. in a short-term deal for how you're performing. Keep him on a 2-year. Not bad. Let's get to the offseason dev trade season. Stanton was hit dev, our top pick. He's now playing with the boost of this OC. 83 star dev. Dev traits all maintained outside of Nico Collins, who we aggressively traded for to get a weapon for Drake Maye, and he is now up to a superstar X Factor, easily justifying the trade. Maybe even making it, like, maybe we even got away a little bit there with a robbery, highway robbery. Barmore keeps his X Factor. Abdul Carter is now in X Factor, which you love to see, crushing it. I mean, my God, he seems like a guy, potential, all-world type potential here to break like a sack record type potential. We also, on the defense side, Daxton Hill was normal dev. He's up to a star now. We did lose the dev trait on Malcolm Rodriguez. Another was game for Jacoby Dean. Really would love to see a Gonzalez dev trade increase, but it kind of is what it is. So going into this offseason, I think you can make an argument if like a BPA is a linebacker, we could use someone with upside next to Mapu. Same with pass rush. Uche's kind of at his ceiling. That third corner, more so an outside corner because Jones is a slot. So we need someone else to play on the outside with Gonzalez. It's what I focused on it last year. Just the draft sucked for it. Maybe we'll try another year getting a big-time outside corner. But I think for the most part, man, like, you know, best case scenario, we're not going to have to spend a lot of money on the open market. So that's good. Dang, it really was. Ooh. Nah, not worth the price. We'll be able to draft one, I think. So for agency, upside pass rusher potentially. Worst case, it's not a long-term commitment. Nolan Smith Jr. leaving the Philadelphia Eagles. Come on, don't go to the Seahawks. What a piece of shit. All right, we'll just keep our war chest for another year. Kind of looking at the mock drafts here. The one player that might be worth drafting, James Hightower at corner. Triple A's and a B. Combine is... The speed's good. The 3-go to 20-yard shuttle, little suspect, if I'm being honest with you here. But the Eagles suck, so we got that first-round pick from Philly. My big need is pass rush, and I'm not seeing the pass rush, at least at that range. Like, honestly, I'm going to see what I can get at that pick and see if we can just do damage with our own selection down here at 29. So the mock draft didn't lie. The corner looked pretty solid off the board, but I was always kind of leaning, trading out of this pick a little bit. Let's see what kind of value we can get. If not, I'll just take the best edge rusher available. We have the Rams, who are hashtag #FuckDimPicks, offering us a first next year, a first the year after that. I think you got to take that deal, man. Especially, again, we got the Drake Maye contract coming up. The more picks that we have, more affordable contracts. We'll keep kicking this can down the road. We went the best corner available, which was, you know, letter grades. We had A-man, B-zone, 6'3", 90 acceleration. It's not the corner. I guarantee, by comparison, that corner that went at pick 5 is going to be a lot better. But still happy we got a dev trait corner at a position of need with outside speed. I mean, that's a big-ass corner. 6'3", 210. Depending on what the tackling is. Do we have what his tackling grade is? Might not be the best. Unless I'm blind. It's B. I mean, he could be a safety down the line. I like the versatility. We need a linebacker to come in and play. We got Duke Dupree out of Oklahoma. A tackle, B zone coverage, elite speed, even though he is kind of put up against the outside linebackers. Dang. If we're going to be in the business of not paying running backs, which is a possibility, this guy looks pretty decent. Micah Hayward out of Wake Forest. A tackle, A carry, A break tackle, B ball carry vision, elite strength, first in the 40, 32 reps for a running back is insane. And of course, no dev trade. Our board's getting stretched, got it thin here. We got a center with A in the pass block, and usually if I'm blind picking, I will take players with important A grades. So we will go Jake Porter. I guess we're just not getting dev trade players, but I bet you that guy's probably 70 plus, which is not bad in the interior. Another player with really good letter grades at corner, not necessarily, you know, that S tier athlete, very similar to the Manning pick. We got Sammy Smith to add some depth here to the secondary. Okay, so looking at our draft recap, that first round pick is really Alton Manning, 73 hidden dev corner, and 2 additional first round picks, so I will take the value there. After trading out of that 6th spot, Dupree, 75, normal dev. God damn, Micah Hayward, 78. However, normal dev trade. Got absolute whiffed On the A pass block, center 65. That's a dud. Sammy Smith, 71 normal. The rest of the picks kind of butt cheek. Got a 71 punter in the 7th round. A lot of picks. One dev trait is harsh, but, you know, they can't always be absolute home run drafts. Buffalo Bills, kind of the same deal. Pretty middle of the mall type draft class. The Miami Dolphins, you know, again, middle of the mall. No S tier type players. Especially they got a top 10 pick. And they got a hidden dev pass rusher, but he looks modest, to say the least. And finishing up with the Jets, maybe we'll give them the slight edge here for the draft as things stands with 4 70-plus players. Week 8 of year 4, and we are tied for first in the division. Feel all right with. Offensive rankings are great. Defensive rankings, definitely a drop-off from last year's #1 defense, but we got half a season to kind of bring those up a little bit and get closer to the top 10. Yeah, with $100 million, looking at our contracts here, got to be smart with it. This is really going to be our last offseason before, you know, it's time to pay the pipe here a little bit. Uche, replaceable. Even though we were chasing an edge rusher, he's replaceable. Rasheed Walker, I don't want to say replaceable, but I think the fact that he's interested, we can lock him in for 2 more years. If he was not interested, I think I might be a little scared off of the dev trade a little bit there. Kyle Duggar at safety, I wouldn't hate him coming back on like a 1-year rental, but if he doesn't take this, 1 year, 7.5, he does. So it just kind of gives us a stopgap there that we don't have to go out and pay a new safety or, you know, spend a premier pick. Because really, if you, outside of the 3rd round, I usually struggle to find a lot of value at that safety spot. Jalen Polk, great role player for the offense, wants to stay here. So, wow, kind of holding us up a little bit. Christian Gonzalez needs to get paid. Absolutely no issue paying him. We're going to go 7.5, 10.5, 5 year at $90 million. Let's go. Hopefully we can get a dev trait and get him off that ugly star dev as well. And then year 4, at least we're playing at like, we got a level set that I don't think we're going to fall too below. 11-6 type team, as long as we got Drake Maye kind of leading the show here, which is good. Didn't win the AFC East though, so our streak kind of ends there. Defense tightened up a little bit. Overall, points per game, not amazing, but 12th and 11th in pass and rush. I'll take that, even though it's brutal knowing where we were last season as an S-tier unit. But look at the offense. Top 5 offense, 10th in passing, 5th in rushing. I was kind of being like, do we pay Singleton? Are we going to be, again, one of those offenses that... I mean, it's the Browns offense, right? So you figure we get an S-tier running back, which Singleton should be. He's only 22 years old, 89 superstar, I think, is roughly where he's at. You know, he could be that Nick Chubb. That unlocks that Nick Chubb level of talent and play and sim cheese, because Nick Chubb can get, I've seen him get 2,000 yards in the sim. Maybe we can play into something like that. But, you know, not bad. Got Baltimore in the 1st round of the playoffs. Unfortunately, not one Player of the Year award. Drake Maye, just outside, 11th in yards, 11th in touchdowns, so just outside a top 10 quarterback. Maybe slightly worried. He loses his X factor and falls down to a star. Singleton, 1,200 yards, 13 touchdowns. Hayward, chip it in there as well. Drake, I mean, you know what? You throw the rushing in. He's over 4,000. He's over 30 touchdowns. I think I don't know. I'm going to say it's 60-40. He keeps his X factor. Nico Collins, 1,000 yards, 10 touchdowns. Just on, you know what? We'll give it to him. We'll round up to Mario Douglas, 1,000 yards, 8 touchdowns. Polk was a good role player. Michael Mayer's production, the other guy that might be at risk of losing his dev trade on that superstar, even for a tight end. That, I'd be optimistic there. Mappa with a lot of tackles. I didn't change a fucking thing from last year. Bills defense, 4-3. Same DC. It's not even like my DC got poached. And our sacks have been cut completely. Absolutely, completely cut in half. Oh, why? And we 2 total interceptions all year. There's a word. There's an absolute word for what that is, but we're not going to say it. Doesn't make any sense. All right, it almost just feels like that's just a damper. Let's get this over. We're going to lose in the 1st round. My defense, we win. 17-14. Hell yeah. Okay. Well, I'll give our team a little bit of a back rub here. So you don't want to saying that around the owner of the Patriots too much. He'll get excited. But let's see what happens here against the 12-5 Jags. So a really good defense. Top 5 defense in the league offensively. Struggle with Trevor Lawrence. And they offensively struggle except this week where they put up 31 points, sending us home in the divisional round. Very close matchup. They got 14 points in the fourth. Got hot when they needed to. Drake Maye played well. 3 touchdowns, no picks. But, you know, they got 3 total rushing touchdowns. Our run defense did not show up. Who the fuck is Thomas Thomas? Who is this guy? What world is Thomas Thomas? My D tackle 4. Depth. Where did you even come from? CPU pick. Hell yeah. Thomas Thomas. Okay. Whatever silver lining it potentially can be, we did lose to the eventual Super Bowl champion Jacksonville Jaguars. In closing, on the dev trade side, unfortunately, we lose the superstar dev on Michael Mayer, but everyone else keeps theirs. Nico Collins had a great year. Singleton had a good year. May, you know, I guess if you throw in the rushing yards, probably enough to keep his X factor, but not enough that if he did lose it, I'd be up in arms about it. On the defensive side of the ball, Keon White loses his dev trade. Kyle Duggar loses his dev trade. We do gain a dev trade on Dupree, who was normal, started at linebacker, so that checks out, which is pretty solid. Still no dev trade for Christian Gonzalez, even the picks. But Manning, our first round pick, superstar dev corner. Hell yeah, baby. We'll take that every day of the week. I was going to be kind of in the market for a pass rusher if the right one became available. However, the value simply isn't there, especially enough for me not to give our playoff standout Thomas Thomas an opportunity to start next season. Wide receiver 3 also is a position that I did, I don't want to say unfortunately, I did focus scout it for the upcoming draft class. However, the best value was Troy Franklin on a 4-year, $17 million. So the cap is around $4 million a year. He's only 24 years old, 80 overall. The value was insane, even if it renders our focus scouting for the year for the upcoming draft a little bit useless. All right, so looking at the final mock draft, we have 2 first-round picks. I mean, it's going to be a minute in terms of draft. So we got 2 first-round picks. However, the value of those picks aren't necessarily insane. We pick at 26 and 27 this year. I will say this linebacker looks pretty badass. TJ McFarland, 5'11", 235, so undersized a little bit. But big-time athlete. Not really the direction that we're going, but needs to be considered that this year, probably not going to be able to kick that first-round pick. I mean, I will say right now, with how late we're picking, if we could finesse someone out of another future first-round pick, it's highly, highly, highly unlikely. But maybe that's what we'll do. I wasn't recording. Phenomenal. Well, okay. Well, at least this is an easy pick to talk about. I literally just... What happened to my... I don't know how I messed this up. Okay, but basically, point being, I need D tackle. There was no good D tackles. I need corner. We got our, 6'4", 95 speed corner. I made a talk about how he had 95 speed and the last couple of rebuilds. These freaks that are almost getting the C4 stamp approval, that's going to be hidden dev trait type athletes. It's not been going our way. I mean, just look at last year's draft class. We got great players, not a lot of dev traits. Also, a sneaky spot that I did use 2 of my scoutings on was at strong safety because Kyle Duggar's starting to regress. He's at 30. Dev traits are leaving. And there's a couple good safeties that hopefully might be available in the second round. I don't know if I want to use our other first-round pick. This is our first of 2, and we're right up on the clock again. Man, the server crashed, and it kept my clock running. I literally closed the game down, reloaded up. The clock was still rolling. It was absolutely absurd. We paused it with 8 seconds after selecting Deshaun Reese, after me justifying this whole freaking pick, and it wasn't recording. It's shambolic right now. All right, we're going back here. D tackle. I scouted wide receiver like an idiot. Then we signed Troy Franklin. And, of course, I didn't get any wide receiver 100% scout. There's definitely a couple dogs in here. But because of Troy Franklin, we can kind of kick that can down the road a little bit. Tackle, maybe. Both of our tackles kind of on shorter-term deals. And we got a couple nice-looking ones. This one here, George Bass, has A pass blocking, which I am a sucker for drafting players with A dev traits. I don't want to go pass rush because I'm here for the Thomas Thomas, at least giving him 1 season to see what he can do. We're going to have a little bit of fun come training camp. I do need an interior pass rusher. We need a D tackle. And I'm a little bit drawn to this guy. We're not going to use a first-round pick on him, but Geraldo here with the A finesse move, big-time athlete. I think come around the third round, maybe even reach in the second round, depending on how our board falls. This guy was the mock draft. TJ McFarland looks solid as well. A zone, B pursuit. Do I want to burn a first-round pick on a linebacker that does not have elite speed, even if the letter grades are great? No, not really. You can obviously make an argument that Gio Turner, the other super... I mean, it's just we don't need two corners. We got Christian Gonzalez. We got Marcus Jones. Perfect slot. Don't need really upgrade there, but the value could be here in Gio Turner. I don't know, because we got the superstar corner last year. How stacked do you want to be at corner? I guess is the question you need to decide on. But then out of that, I did scout two safeties that look pretty decent. We have Carl Waller, who has B zone coverage, B hit power, 6 feet tall, combine, not brutal. Pro day a little bit better, but we got third in the 40-yard dash, almost top 5 in the 3-cone 20-yard shuttle. Jonathan Newsom, who has B man coverage, a little bit rarer on a safety. Hit power, tackle, B, zone coverage, C, and the combine is a lot better, but it's a reach here in the second round. I mean, we'll go Newsom here, and then maybe be aggressive in the second round. See where our picks kind of fall. That linebacker looks good. That D tackle looks good. If that tackle with the A blocking still there in the second round, maybe we get a little aggressive here. But really, really happy with this Newsom pick, and gives us cover for whenever time it's to move on from Kyle Duggar. All right, I literally was just trying to sim pick by pick by pick until the tackle ahead of Bash went, because then that's the time to be aggressive and go trade up. And clearly he was good because he got overdrafted. Brutal. So I guess at this point we'll just wait till pick 27. I'll be honest, D tackle looks pretty good. I think we got to go with the value. That corner that we scouted still there. And he's everything we want in the corner. The letter grades check out. 6'3". The combine's really damn good. I mean, we'll have to throw some up on the trade block, I guess, or maybe move someone around to a DB. I mean, the superstar depth corner we drafted last year, Manning, had great tackling. Maybe he moves to one of the safety spots. We trade away. I don't know. I think we got a great surplus here to maybe make a big-time trade before the regular season starts. All right, we're not going to wait. I'm going to give a third, a fourth, and 2-6. We still have another third-round pick, but able to move up here. Oh, I don't know what that would be. 20 spots, give or take, in the third round. We're going to go get that D tackle. Saw the run on D tackles probably about to start. And last time I saw a D tackle that was undersized, that had a freak combine and a finesse move, he was a superstar depth. So let's see if we can roll that again with that same archetype, Miguel Geraldo. Let's go. I'm going to come back to this. We're going to put a pin in it, but this is the most Patriot guy of all time. I'm allowed to say that, but a catching traffic, slot wide receiver from Georgia with elite acceleration. We'll come back to that. That's a day 3 pick. Look at here in the third round. Is there like a sneaky lineman that we can get? Gibson as B run block. Hollenbach as B pass block. What's the combine look on this guy? We got any good combines left? Ooh. Elite. Sure. Welcome to the D. Oh, my wideout's gone. Come on, man. That guy's a Patriot through and through. Now I got this guy. Fuck that. I think we use a fullback and a lead block, a pass block. Sure. All right, got a sneak peek. We'll look around the division first, and then we'll go into our draft class, where the Bills had a top 5. Bills had a good haul here, but a top 5 pick, surprisingly low finish. And they go get themselves a hell of a pass rusher. Darren Franks here at Ole Miss. He's no Thomas, but he looks pretty solid. The Miami Dolphins. Not a great draft by their standards. The New York Jets. Hey. That's dog. 77 wideout. NC State. How many weapons do they need? Garrett Wilson. Malachi Corley. Interesting. But the New England we need a draft like this, fellas. Bet we let the board fall to us. Just Sean Reese. 77 hidden dev. 6'4 corner. He's very much going to be a corner. Him and Gonzalez on the outside. We got Jonathan Newsom. Drafted him more as not to contribute so much this year, but to be a successor for Kyle Duggar. And he looks solid. He got the rare high man cover grade, which I'd always suggest to get. Somehow Gio Turner just fell to us. 75 with a hidden dev for him, which gives us just an absolute surplus at corner. Geraldo, 70, maybe a little bit lower on Geraldo, but he did also roll in with a dev trade as an undersized interior, and it gives us an option of not having to pay the other D-tackle. Hollenbach, 74, hidden dev in the third round. Now, not necessarily taking a victory lap here. We have a lot of picks, 2 firsts, 2 thirds. So it's not like this is all like we got 77, hidden dev, 75, 75, 71, all these dev traits, and we're like rounds 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We had a lot of great picks. Kind of whiffed here, went for the best athlete at tight end. We got a 74 fullback, but easily the best draft class we've had, but now gives us a pretty big problem in the secondary that hopefully we can find a willing trade partner. Now, before we do anything, any trades, any depth chart ordering, it is time for Thomas to go in and get a gold medal here in the trench battle and get a dev trade increase. It's going to happen. Let's go, baby. It's been a minute since I've done this drill, but I'm pretty automatic. Boom, look at that. Look at that. Give me that one. Get off me. I'm a powerhouse. Oh, we get clipped. Oh, hits him with the spin. Club. Oh, spin again. Thomas trips himself. But finishes strong. It's not about how you start, it's about how you finish. He puts Drake Maye on his ass. There we go. Hell of a move here. We get jammed up a little bit, but that's fine. Just hit, you know. He had an ear infection. His equilibrium's a little bit off. But he was having a hell of a go here. As long as we don't get tripped up too bad. Let's get that multiplier. Of course, just the biggest idiots of all time here on this team. But look at that. We're already up to a silver. An opportunity to get gold. As long as we don't mess this up too bad. Confidence level is kind of high. I think we can still get it even if we don't get that multiplier. I think the time that we're saving is probably going to help us out here, but we definitely got to get the rest of these multipliers. No! You stay in! Look at that effort! Look at the effort. The whole team slowed him down. Come on! Get the goal, baby! Fuck! Come on! I just want to show this for the record. I am about to trade Marcus Jones. The Cardinals did just offer me an X-Factor linebacker. Oh. Sometimes you can't look a gift basket in the mouth and not take it. And I'm sure that is 100% how that saying goes. That gift horse in the mouth. That's what it is, right? I'm looking at this gift cardinal in the mouth and saying, sure, you know, there's no way that X Factor, he's got to lose. He's not going to play. But I'm going to take that opportunity. High ceiling player. Let's go. So we're now 4 deep at corner. Gonzalez not going anywhere. Manning. I think the play is to move Manning to safety. We got Kyle Duggar, last year of his contract. Newsome, successor in place. Duggar's already lost his dev trade. Dax Hill. Let's see what we can get for Duggar. Wow, that's harsh. Seattle Seahawks easily show the most interest in Dax Hill. 27-82 star dev, starting caliber safety. I want to take a swing for a fence to get a little bit more of a premier pick because we got 2 firsts again. It's probably gonna be the last year we have it. I want to be aggressive and be cautiously optimistic. There might be like that generational guy that we're gonna want to trade. Potentially have two firsts, 2 seconds to use and trade out and be aggressive. So I threw in my third, a 6 and 7, and Dax Hill to get the 2nd round pick from the Seattle Seahawks. With that move, we're going to take Alton Manning, who has great traits, I think, to make a switch to safety. 67 tackle, which is up there. The hit power is not the best, but the tackling is pretty good. Anytime you get a DB that's around 70 tackle, which is what we have, and now we're going to be able to focus trade him a little bit more at safety as he develops with that dev trait. Like, I think we're going to get a nice rating here. I'm not expecting it to go up, but it's going to be about the same. He has the size, the profile, 6'3", 210 to move that to position. Because we can't trade Duggar, I think we probably just give Newsom the start this year, the Florida State stud. And our corners, Gonzalez, Reese, and Turner. And then we just got, thank you very much, Arizona Cardinals. Long way to go out of Villanova. But we got Joel. He's a power rusher. Oh, no. My question to you guys. Should we just... I can't do it. That's going to ruin all the... I feel like there's the same rating, right? Can this guy just be Thomas? Can we just give Thomas this guy's... It's just Freaky Friday here. Can we entertain this for once? I'm doing it. We're going to have a little fun. Because it makes... There's no difference. I want Thomas because it's hilarious. This guy's never going to see the field for me. They're the exact same rating. Even, what do you call it? Actually, Thomas, this guy's 70 X Factor that no one gives a shit about. And Thomas is 67. I'm going to give Thomas the X Factor. I'll make that other guy normal. We're going to Freaky Friday then. We'll keep the rating the same. Everything will remain the same. I'm just going to hook him up with a dev trade, which he's probably going to lose. He's not going to hold on to it anyways. But I'm invoking the one-time non-realistic Freaky Friday clause for Thomas. I think the effort he showed in that workout drill of being able to jump over the spinning wheel of doom, he's absolutely earned it. The corresponding Freaky Friday move, Winters, who we just made the trade for, we're going to knock him down to a normal dev trade. Oh, baby, did Thomas ever hell an offseason? 3 points here, let's go. Right, all in a power rusher. I think Abdul Carter's a little bit worried right now that there's a new S-tier, premier, big dog pass rusher in town named Thomas. Offensively, here is how the squad looks. The O-line might not have as many depth traits as we are accustomed to, even though Hollenbach will eventually succeed someone on this line. But it's still pretty solid. Michael Mayer, unfortunately, lost his superstar depth. It's still a really solid weapon for us. Same with Demario Douglas. Nico Collins is an X Factor. We added Troy Franklin on a very affordable deal in free agency. Nicholas Singleton, this is going to be the big decision, I think, because he's 23, so his ceiling is 99 running back. Are we going to want to pay that? Are we going to want to pay that on top of when we have to pay Drake Maye? It's going to be very difficult. My plan always was to just cheap out on the running backs. Kind of what you got to do. We got a 79 running back that has 2 extra rookie contract years. But I don't know. We got figured out. Drake Maye playing like a 99 X Factor going into year 5, which is old school. We used to just stop the rebuild. This is the final year Super Bowl or bust type scenario. Luckily, we have more time, but with that more time comes we're going to have to pay the piper with Drake Maye, and that's not going to be particularly fun. On the defense, I'll tell you right now, we're going to go upside, pure upside, and Geraldo is going to start alongside our X Factor and Barmore. Thomas Freaky Friday himself into an X Factor. Abdul Carter is an X Factor. We're going to give Newsome the start over Kyle Duggar. You know, ideally, I tried to trade Kyle Duggar, not to do dirty by him. He's been a loyal player for this defense. He just kind of regressed a little bit, getting up there in age. We got a young guy, the successor. It's kind of just how it is. Mapu and Dupree as our 2 main linebackers. Manning making the switch from corner to safety, superstar depth. We got Gonzalez. We got height, weight, speed, and Reese first-round pick. Turner, the value pick at the end of the second round with a dev trade. Incredibly optimistic about this defense, but all eyes are on Thomas. We're going to, in the wrestling business, we're going to break kayfabe here. Now, Thomas, this is a chance that you have an opportunity to become an absolute meme on the channel. Guy that we'll talk about for at least the rest of Madden 24. Now, with this platform that I've given you, if you come out and just bullshit around and get 3.5 sacks and lose your dev trait and fade off into obscurity, that is a missed opportunity for this video, for this channel, for our viewers at home, for myself, for my own personal enjoyment of this rebuild. So, all I'm asking, I'm not saying you need to be better than Carter. I'm not saying you need to be better than Barmore. What I'm saying is, don't suck. Week 3, big win over the Miami Dolphins. Christian Gonzalez with a player of the week. Every time I see a player of the week, I'm hoping it's a Thomas scenario. Just upgrading and just Sean Reese. First round pick. I mean, that is a god-awful ability. X Factor corner. Can we get him off subs? Let's get him, I don't know what's it. Let's give him shutdown. Something a little bit better, but there we go. An X Factor. Let's go. We paid our dues last year with no goddamn dev traits. We got 1 X Factor, and we still got, what, 2-3 more hidden devs to go. The midway point of year 5, looking pretty good. Patriots 4-1. We have the number 1 offense in the league. Little shaky pass offense, need to say. Number 2 defense in the league. Happy with all that. Now, $95 million. The Canadian City Sal, unfortunately, We got to tighten the budget up just a little bit. Kyle Duggar, thank you for your service. We'll check your stats out before all said and done. Keon White, never really worked out, bud. Same with the Kobe D. McNeil's here. Emery Jones got some depth. Do got Nicholas Singleton. We'll see how much money's left, but up first, we got to pay Drake Maye. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years left on this rebuild. So I think we offer him 6. Just get him locked in for the remainder. 6, 342. He's business is dealt. So we have 39 remaining. I really do want Singleton. I think this might come back to bite us in the ass paying a running back, but to have a 99 X-Factor quarterback and a 99 running back sounds pretty cool. I know Gio Turner's dev trait, star dev, is what it is. And we get to upgrade Newsome. I don't know if you see that thing next to his name. So far, 3 dev traits from our draft class have been unveiled. 1 star, but 2 superstar X Factors in our secondary. Let's go! And the one guy that got the low roll of the dev trait, Turner, gets a player of the week performance with 2 interceptions in his rookie campaign. And then year 5, our best season yet. 13-4, our second AFC East title in 5 seasons. Number 2 offense. Number 4 defense overall. I think with how goddamn good our secondary is, adding 2 X Factors, we should be better than 17th against the pass. But here we are. We do anything? Drake Maye, we won't go in the archetype. We're going to officially make him a 99 overall quarterback who is locked in for the remainder of the rebuild under contract. Drake Maye had a hell of a year, finishing in the top 3 for the MVP. 6th in yards, 2nd in touchdowns, 36 touchdowns to only 4 picks. He was also able to add in 300 yards, 3 rushing touchdowns. Look at this 1-2 punch we have in the backfield. Is, again, the argument's going to come up. And I already, my regret is this. Abdul Carter, our X-Factor pass rusher, needs to get paid. And is that money we paid Singleton going to be the difference between being able to re-sign him and not, considering Hayward clearly looks like a guy that if you gave him the opportunity, you gave him 100 more attempts, probably a similar line. Couple bridesmaids, no brides. Abdul Carter, runner-up for D Lineman of the Year. The Canadian in his final season, City Sow, gets Lineman of the Year. And we get Nico Collins, runner-up for Wide Receiver of the Year. I don't know where. Singleton, 3rd in running backs. Okay. We get another big-time season. Nico Collins, 1,200 yards, 11 touchdowns, 9-4 for Douglas, 7-13 for Michael Mayer. Might be good enough to get him his superstar back. That's a lot of touchdowns. On the defense, actually, let's see. What did City Sow do? No sacks. That's what you love to see out of a dog Canadian right there. I wish we could afford to pay him. Defensively, Mapu, tackle machine, 131 tackles, 17 TFLs, 3 sacks, 3 picks. We got, oh, come on, Thomas! Literally, it's like the 1 more sack than what I roasted him for. Geraldo, 5 sacks. He was the last of the hidden devs. We didn't find out yet. Star dev, not bad. We'll take that. You know what? The way I like to think it is like Thomas, this beast, was eating the double team so that Barmore could get 12 sacks, 19 TFLs. So Carter could get 19 sacks, 12 TFLs. Interceptions, pretty solid. The rookie Newsome with 2. Turner, the rookie with 2. We got 2 from the rookie Reese. Manning with 2. Gonzalez with 1. Not bad for what should be on paper like the best young secondary in the NFL. Just while we're talking sacks, because it is his final year, and he's our longest tenured player on the defensive side of the ball, Kyle Duggar, 651, tackles 29 TFLs, 13 picks in his career. Real solid player for us. But it can't be talked about enough how freaking dope this defense is. 5 X Factors. The secondary is loaded. Gonzalez, 96. Superstar and Manning. 2 great linebackers who could feed off one another. And we know Thomas, even though the regular season wasn't great, did a lot of the dirty work. Last year he stood up in the playoffs, and I expect more of that here this season. For the first round, we roll the 9-8 Baltimore Ravens, who have a top 5 rushing offense, top 10 defense, but let's be honest, we are and should be putting them through the goddamn wood chipper there. A little close for comfort, 24-21, but able to dispose of them, setting up, oh my god, there's a big matchup here. On the road against the Bengals. And that's really good. Top 5 offense, top 10 defense. You got Joe Burrow's absolutely crushing it. I think it's going to be worth it. Let's upgrade our players as good as we possibly can. Our kicker and fullback, 2 very important positions that, in honor of Bill Belichick, 2 positions he would prioritize. I feel like we got a team here that can go win a Super Bowl. But we got to run through the gauntlet. We handle business. And we meet the 1 seed in the championship game, the Jags. Number 3 offense, number 1. What the hell does that look like? Why are they so good? Got to get a scouting report here. Josh Allen, they got Cooper DeJean, ETN, Tyson Campbell, Cisco, Caleb Downs, Devin Lloyd's developed nice, Ingram, Trevon Walker. So they've kind of just kept their core group of players together for the most part, and they're thriving. All right. Maybe take note next time we need to hire an OC or DC. If the Jags playbook's there, might be worth checking out. And with the Super Bowl on the line, we get there 35-21. Drake Maye, 4 touchdown a day. Jordan Love wins it on the other side, but it's, oh my God, no. Not them. Anybody but them. Like the Giants are never the 1 seed, let alone you see them in the Super Bowl. Of course. Out of the Super Bowl, had to go check the dev traits. We got the superstar in Mayer. Shout out to the 13 touchdowns. No one regressed dev trait on the offensive side of the ball, which is a win. I thought we were going to lose at least something on the defense, but Thomas is determined to keep that dev trait. Carter and Barmore deserved it. Reese and Newsom, never know. Sometimes you just see a very harsh, unfair rookie dev trait decrease. Luckily, they survive. Mapu goes from star to superstar. Manning also if I had to guess, I would have put money on him losing his dev trade after the switch from corner to safety, but he is still thriving at that position. Let's go kick the ever-living shit and exercise some old demons against the New York Giants here in the Super Bowl. Looking at them, they got a top 5 offense. Their defense is solid, led by the 3rd rushing defense in the league. Roster-wise, how they match up, they got Desmond Ridder at quarterback, Saquon Barkley still there at running back, Brian Thomas, Keon Coleman, Dontavian Wicks. They got a superstar tight end, Andrew Thomas, 97. They got Cole Strange, Smits. Pretty good O-line. Ruben Bain on the D-line. They got Uche, who knows our secrets. Dex Lawrence, David Bailey, Okereke, Kayvon Thibodeau's up to an X factor. They signed Jalen Ramsey in free agency. Deontay Banks has developed nice. McKinney's still there. So they didn't really lose a lot of the players they lost IRL in free agency. But I'm going to be honest, beatable. I think even though we're only a 1-point difference separations, I think we are clearly the better team. Like my gut says, unless there is scripting, which I'm a little suspicious of, how the hell are the Giants in the Super Bowl? Of course, with the Patriots. But I got a feeling that I don't even need to hop in. We're going to handle business. It's going to be 21-0 at halftime. We are not losing to Desmond Ridder. Drake Maye is built differently, and on the opening drive, our elite defense falls a little bit flat. But look at that. Look at that response. They go down and settle for a field goal. And we watch them. They settle for a field goal. Kind of going back and forth here. Turnover. Lots of just nonsense going on. Not playing a whole lot in their territory. Love to see a touchdown here. It's a 7-point game. We will come in on 3rd and 5. I'm going to invoke our 3 cash-in rules if we need to. But at least the first drive. See, why is the clock burning? Why is it 2 clock? We are losing. And we need, ideally, get the ball back. We need 2 possessions. We're going to float it up. Michael Mayer wide open. The superstar tight end. A break in coverage. The Giants got to do a lot better than that. Oh, come on, fellas. Okay, we hold to a field goal. 4th and 9. Okay. 2 clock on. Appreciate that as well. Where is our speed going to come from? Or we just keep working the middle of the defense. Michael Mayer. Got him. Got him. Go! All right, we got our timeouts. We are at least in field goal range, and we have a superstar kicker. Finish this drive! What? How do we get 0 points? We were on the 20. Are you fucking kidding me? It's like a top 5 Super Bowl loss. And on top of that, we lose like the perfect offensive coordinator. They had quarterback guru and all that shit. I mean, we're likely still going to stay with the Cleveland Browns playbook. Unless there's something better here. We got Carolina, Detroit, Buffalo. I mean, Cincinnati's kind of in line with what we're looking for. Low turnovers. We just go with keep Cleveland. Looking at the free agency spot, some interesting players there for sure, but we got a very expensive offseason coming up, so we are just going to stay put and continue, hopefully, to draft S tier. All right, so our needs this year are a little bit unique. We don't so much need starters. We need to look at who's in the final year of their contract because it's going to be very tight, and I think we still got to prioritize Abdul Carter. We got Abdul Carter gone. In my mind, I'm penciling like that is where our money's going to go. Mike Owenu at tackle is going to be a free agent. Probably can't afford to pay him. Nico Collins is going to be a free agent. Ideally, we find a way to keep him, but it looks like a kind of dog shit wide receiver class. Lionel Cobb looks the best of the bunch, but you're not necessarily getting that terrifying, deep threat 4-2 that you're kind of looking for. I did find one a little bit later, which we'll talk about. So I was like, all right, tackle. What do we got for tackle? There's some pretty good tackles in this class. We got Tanner Hepner. First round has that A run block, B, but his dog shit bench press. Absolutely just, I thought I was onto something. But then I got a right tackle that also looks really good. Daryl Staley. We got the 3 A's, A pass block, B run block, and he's not weak as shit. Third bench press off his pro day. Wish maybe there's a little bit more elite there, but tackles a need. D tackles another spot. Christian Barmore is set to be a free agent, so I'd use one of my 3 focus scouting on Vernon Alexander, who has A power move, B tackle, big time athlete on the inside. So that could also be a little bit of an interesting pick. Whew, I don't know. We got 2 first rounders. But again, like in years past, we don't got great picks. We pick our own, which is 31. And the pick we picked up, I believe, was from the Eagles, is at 23, which has us getting Hepner. But he's with that bench press, I guarantee he's like a normal death. My favorite pick would either be getting Alexander, which is 18, and maybe if we can't trade up high enough, we look to see if we can do business with the Bucks. I really do think Staley is going to be an absolute monster. Obviously, going to be very expensive to try to trade up. We'll see if the Steelers want to do business, if he's still on the board at that pick. I don't know if I overpaid, but to jump up, to grab a tackle, I want to see if I can flip Owenu, because that's the, if we're making this kind of trade, Owenu is very much surplus at this point in his contract year, but the Steelers had no salary cap to kind of make that work. So I send our earliest pick in the first round. I send our earliest pick in the second round. We have 2 second-round picks. I send a future second and a future third, which I think I very much overpaid for a lineman that I'm going to probably guess is fucking normal death. But we'll see. When you need a tackle, these guys here, I've seen players that look like this, and they're usually top 5. They're not a round 1 projection that slips outside of the top 5. So Daryl Staley, close my eyes, normal dev, please have. Let's go. We at least got a dev trait. I'm going to say he's going to be he's going to be 76, 75, 76, somewhere in that range. Great value. We'll say showing love on the offensive line. There is a man named Jimmy Graham with A pass block, elite change of direction. It looks pretty good. But I think the pick, and I think the contract that's going to be really tough, that's going to be very expensive, it's going to be tough to swallow because he's an X factor, is Christian Barmore. I don't think there's any way whatsoever that we can afford to pay both him and Abdul Carter. Abdul Carter, obviously a younger player. So much like Jimmy Graham, we got Kyrie Elam. Not Kyrie Elam, but 6'4", 312, B finesse move, combine, very good for a 312-pound, running a 4.86. Bench press could be a little better, but first to the 3-count and 20-yard shuttle should be a dev trade, and it is. Gamble on the athletes. And in the second round, we got Kyrie Elam stunt double. We're going to get Jimmy Graham stunt double here. Let's go with the dev trade again. The rich get richer. Especially the last time we got this many devs. A couple of them were X factors. Now my board is completely shot, and this is why. The number one thing I do, it's a pain in the ass. The 2 things that I would say that I do that maybe most people, if you're just doing a rebuild, multi-year rebuild, just get from point A to point B. One is I sim week to week to week to week in case we get not only a dev trade scenario, which you won't get if you sim from opening week to mid-season or opening week all the way to the end. You're not going to have those dev trait scenarios. You're not going to be able to get the actual scenarios that pop up, like Trench Boost, which if you hit, it's very easy to hit. You get 10k XP to all your linemen. That is number 1. Number 2 is I pretty much always look for just the freak athletes. There's almost one every draft at some specific position. And look at what we have here. Deontay Woodley, the fastest wide receiver, the 4.2. He's UDFA. So we've seen this before. I get one of these. 1 in 20 years. I'd say 1 in every 2 rebuilds, there's at least one of these UDFA 6th, 7th round wide receivers that are, they're the John Ross. That has elite everything. They don't come with B-release AD route running. This is the best pound for pound UDFA running wide receiver, skill position, running back, tight end, quarterback. I mean, we did have the 300-pound quarterback one time. That was pretty funny. It's absolutely insane pick. Rich get richer. And I hope at least if anybody watching this, not for me to gloat, because, I mean, again, it's not like I found this guy. It's not like this guy ran a 4.30, and he just magically had dev trade in 99. Everyone would, if you just spent time and kind of combed through the draft class, everyone would be like, oh shit, circle that guy. But what a generated player. So looking at our draft recap, I feel pretty good about this draft. Quality over quantity. Staley, 78. I was thinking 75, 76. Hell yeah. Which now we got to find a trade partner for our wedding, get some compensation back. Elam hidden dev, 73. A little bit lower, I would also say to that. Jimmy Graham at guard, 75 with a dev. That's outstanding. That's what you want to look for. But look at Woodley. I mean, it's not a crazy rating. I've seen UDFA wide receivers with higher. I've seen, 75, 76, 77 UDFAs. And they're usually the slot guys that have, like, A catching and, like, just one absurd stat, like route running or spec catch. But to get a guy like this, that's incredibly cheesy, with a dev trait, Deontay Woodley. That's probably, I mean, I hope he's good. Because we also, I mean, much as I don't want to admit it because he's been a little bit of my prize jewel because he was our first big trade in Nico Collins is probably going to be pretty expensive. There could be a scenario where he is too expensive to bring back. Looking at the Jets draft, not particularly good. Looking at the Dolphins draft, yeah, not bad. Couple 70s going all the way down and finishing up with the Buffalo Bills. Hey, that's a pretty damn good draft as well. 72 edge rusher, 73 wideout, 74 guards, 75 D tackle in the 4th round. What is he, nose tackle? Yeah, nose tackle, cheese, normal dev. But man, oh man. Needs to be stated, coming off a draft where you got 2 X factors, couple star devs sprinkled in, you follow that up with 4 hidden devs. That is how you navigate an expensive roster. Midway point of year 6, tied atop the AFC East with the New York Jets. Miami also playing kind of well. Looking at the Patriots, our defense kind of fell off the cliff, but our offense is elite. Now we got our contracts. $103 million is honestly more than I was expecting. We were kind of planning for Rasheed Walker to walk. We were kind of planning to, we weren't going to be able to sign everyone. We weren't be able to pay everybody. Abdul Carter is the guy that gets the bag first. We are in year 6. We have 4 years left, so I'm going to lock him in at 4 years, $122 million. Then from that, I'm going to be honest, 75 mil. That is a lot of money. And that is a lot more money than I thought we were going to have. I think looking at just how all this kind of fits in, you never really want to pay your linemen. I think Owenu, though, might be good enough at this stage. 2 years. The interest is there, too. I think that's a tiebreaker. The fact that all these guys want to stay here certainly is weighing on my decision here a little bit. But there's no rush. I'm going to say right now, because clearly we have to pick and choose. Why not wait till the end of the season? And if Barmore pops off and has 12 sacks, let's go Barmore 1 year, 27. Nico Collins leads the receiving room again. Maybe we look at him finishing his career and finishing this rebuild as a Patriot. I'm probably not going to play Hale just because I can draft guards fairly well, and that is a lot of money versus I know I can get probably as long as it's not a bad draft class, I could probably find like a 73, 74, 75 hidden dev guard. So he's replaceable. I think that same goes for Rasheed Walker. Goes of the year 14-3, the 1 seed in the AFC. Everyone was good in the AFC East. It was an absolute bloodbath, and we were the best. We stood tall. I love the fact offensively pretty much maintained the status quo where we were midseason. Defensively in December, classic. Even though he's not here anymore, the DNA of Bill Belichick of just sorting shit out near the end of the season and start playing great football. I'm happy, very happy with how this team performed. And a big win over the Bills, 31-25 at the end of the year with Drake Maye, 4 touchdown performance, 380 yards, getting player of the week. Another year, another bridesmaid almost type scenario for Drake Maye, who just can't seem to get over the hump to get MVP. And hell of a year, 5th in yards, 5th in touchdowns, best record 1 seed. 34 touchdowns, 3 picks, also chipped in with another 5 rushing touchdowns. We got a really nice 1-2 punch here in the backfield as well between Singleton and Hayward. Drake Maye did get Coach of the Year, first of his career. Braden Hollenbach, our starting guard, got Offensive Lineman of the Year. Runner-up was our center Stanton. We also got Quarterback of the Year going to Drake Maye, so he gets a little bit of hardware. Mario Douglas was our big-time player here. 1,100 yards, 11 touchdowns. 9 and 10 for Nico Collins. Not doing a great case for me to say, yeah, we're going to go on and pay him. Franklin was solid. Michael Mayer putting up legit tight end numbers. Didn't really get the rookie wide receiver that involved here, Deontay Woodley. But, you know, that's kind of like your stash guy. You're going to unleash him at a later date. Mapu with an insane amount of tackles. Barmore led the team in steal. There you go. That's what I need to see. Thomas, Carter, I don't know why your sacks fell off the map. But Barmore had a hell of a year. And, like, it was kind of like, do I pay Barmore? Do I pay Nico Collins? I feel like Barmore's earned himself a contract. In the divisional round, we run into the 10-7 Pittsburgh Steelers, 2 of the most accomplished franchises in all the AFC. Pittsburgh brings the number 2 defense in the NFL, number 1 rushing defense. And with how good Singleton has been, that is worth note. Handle business in the first round, 24-6 over the Pittsburgh Steelers. Defense absolutely suffocating them, setting up a matchup against Baltimore with a great performance there from Drake Maye. Clean performance as well. That gives us Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens, 11-6. Lamar had a hell of a year. Not crazy touchdowns, but very little interceptions. Number 6 offense, led by the number 3 rushing offense. A top 10 passing defense. Should be tough. I mean, and for as good as I think our team is, we're only at 89 overall. In my head, I think we're going to be way better than that. But we're able to go to the Super Bowl, and are we just going through the greatest hits? We got the Giants last Super Bowl. Now we got the Eagles. This is brutal. Oh, the playoff performer, Thomas, player of the week. 2 sacks. Let's go. That is what you want to see. I mean, Drake Maye, but that's boring at this point. He's crushing it. Thomas is fighting tooth and nail to prove that he may lose his X factor this year because he's not getting much in the regular season. But that's back-to-back playoff runs that he has stepped up and been an impact playmaker. He plays big in big moments. I gotta be honest, fellas. 9-8 Philadelphia Eagles, a barely above 500 team. That you look at their rankings, solid run defense. Other than that, pretty average. This needs to be the first of hopefully many Super Bowls that the Patriots can go on to win here in the rebuild. We learned from last year's loss against the Giants how easy you could piss it away. And I still don't even know how we really lost that game, to be honest with you. But it is a fantastic opportunity to bounce back right here. We know the rules. 3 times we can hop in to try to assist this Patriots team as it's Hurts versus May. Super Bowl on the line. And first blood goes to the Philadelphia Eagles. First touchdown goes to the New England Patriots. I feel like we're on an ass-kicking mission. Redemption tour. We are not losing. And, I mean, this is exactly what you want to see. Let's see if we can put a dagger in potentially. 12 seconds to go. Don't hit me with that bullshit chew the clock that I can't even get a freaking playoff, which they were just about to. Let me get an honest shot to the end zone. Let's see if we can go up 28-3 at halftime. And absolutely just kick our feet up here. And we're going to go with a big Bob Podolsky-esque F it and chuck it. Oh, right there. Behind the safety is Michael Mayer. Baby Gronk 2.0. And that should be enough. I mean, we are just kicking the shit out of it. Let's go, fellas. We deserve that. Especially after last year. We're literally... I don't know how we didn't, at worst, force overtime. Like, we were in field goal range, like 20-yard field goal, and like it wasn't even a field goal miss. We just never attempted one. Made no sense. So as much as it pains me to absolutely dog walk the Philadelphia Eagles, this is a team that had to get this done. With the amount of talent that we have, with the amount of X Factors, superstars, everybody mostly being in their prime, or at the end of their prime, this is like the window that it was time to go on and finally get that Super Bowl victory. That is what, 6 for the Patriots? 7? How many of these assholes won now? We'll try to get a couple more. We got 4 years left. But this is hopefully only the beginning for the Drake Maye season, the Drake Maye era. But I think getting this Super Bowl, finally, the Patriots have a true successor to Tom Brady. And hopefully it's just the beginning of what turns into a dynasty. Look at that 6-touchdown performance. Drake Maye, what a legend. You want to know how good this team was. So shockingly, Hollenbach won Lineman of the Year, but Stanton officially won it. Like, I was like, why did I get robbed of a superstar dev? I was like, oh shit, my center went up dev trait. And I guess he actually won Offensive Lineman of the Year. But you want to know what's even more badass? Last year's draft was great, but it was all about guys that are going to be future assets for the team, right? Staley, who we traded up for, superstar tackle. Didn't play at all this year. Probably hindered his development just a little bit, which is annoying. I probably should have thrown him out there at left tackle. But superstar lineman. We traded up. We were aggressive. Oh, what else do we got here? You can't see me on my webcam. Remember we drafted a wide receiver? UDFA grade. Hidden dev. Also superstar, Deontay Woodley. And if we're going to let Nico Collins walk, we got a guy with upside that we could grow and develop here, which is badass. So you can't ask for more than that, even though regretfully and in hindsight, probably should have had Staley starting at left tackle, and he'd probably be 83 at this point. And same could be said for Woodley. If I knew there was a superstar there, I would have bumped him even ahead of Franklin, even though he's at 85 with the boost. It just kind of maximized the growth there a little bit. And on the defensive side, somehow, none of these guys had crazy years outside of Barmore. I think Barmore's at that age now where he lost his depth rate, not necessarily due to production. But Carter loses his X factor after paying the bag. Thomas keeps it. I don't know how that happened. We finally get the superstar increase to Christian Gonzalez. Manning keeps his superstar. We still got our 2 X factors in the secondary. So pretty happy with where I'm at. Elam was our hidden dev on the defensive side. He popped just star. Now, I'm going to be honest. I think we have enough money here to at least offer them these fair deals. If they take it, it's meant to be. If not, it's not meant to be. Nico Collins, we'll sign him. He didn't lose his X factor, which I think helped at the end of the day. Barmore did lose his X factor, but it's only a 1-year deal, and I don't think I'd be spending that money elsewhere, so we'll bring him back as well to run it back year 7 to try to win another Super Bowl. And because of how well we handle business, we don't need to spend in free agency. I mean, I wish, and I know there's some people that appreciate when you can be aggressive and bring in fresh faces, but we've drafted, we're going to lose our kicker. That's our highest rated guy, and maybe we even try to bring him back. I can't do it. Can't do it. Just can't do it, won't do it. But there's nothing. We don't have a single hole on our team that can't be furnished through the draft. And maybe this is the offset of being able to bring back Barmore in a 1-year and Nico Collins short term. That was our free agency. So without having any need as far as an open roster spot, I think we need to look for life next season. Who is up for a contract extension that we have no shot at paying. And right now it is depth guys. We got Thomas, who we're going to pay. Mapu at linebacker. We got Dupree. So we have our 2 starting linebackers, Demario Douglas, Stanton at center, and Barmore's only on a 1-year. Stanton getting that superstar dev at center. If we have, I'm going to say probably $50 million-ish of salary cap, I'm thinking a Stanton Thomas potentially as our re-signings. But I think linebacker surprisingly might be a bigger need. And maybe we see if we can find a wide receiver. And or D-tackle. I don't know. We do have 2 hidden dev D-tackles waiting in the pipeline behind Barmore. And I picked 32 of the first round of the 2030 NFL Draft. Where are we looking? I'll tell you right now, the top end of this draft looked to have some franchise guys. But with how we've been able to kind of just stay put and handle our own business, no need. No need to be aggressive. No need to have to trade up. Now, I did scout pass rushers here because I was preparing in case we couldn't re-sign Abdul Carter to kind of handle our business. Not the best role. I did fully scout Keelan Clancy out of Florida State. A power, C finesse, B blocks out. He looks pretty good. Just to throw another D tackle in there. We do have 2 hidden dev D tackles, but they're both star. So the gamble here is Clancy like a superstar. And Not as elite of an athlete as I would have hoped for. Not a bad pick, though. Linebacker is a need as well, and I scout the top 2 linebackers, but I think we'll be able to get these guys, second round, third round. Doug Garvin looks to be the best of the 2, just athletically speaking, but Jimmy Drayton, has the better speed. They're both good options here, because, there also is a scenario we just go top 2 linebackers, because Mapu and Dupree are both set to be free agent, and maybe that's just where we save money. We don't pay the linebacker. We go with the 2 top in the draft. I think we do that. Drayton zone coverage is going to be, at worst, a B, so that's BBB, ABB, if that is an A. Elite speed looks pretty good. And we get ourselves the Vogue, not common anymore, first-round middle linebacker pick. That is a hit. Now, we unfortunately did not have a second-round pick, so we had to wait all the way to pick 32 in the third round. And the linebackers, I'm still trying to chase one. Let's see who's the best remaining. We'll go Matthew Wilson. A zone, A tackle, B pursuit. Again, it's getting compared with some edge rushers in there. But elites in agility and jumping. Great speed, great acceleration. Take a swing here. Give me the dev. Let's go. Let's go. Oh, Mr. Irrelevant. Hidden dev kicker. Definitely not generational. He only had B kick accuracy and solid kick power, but that's what we need right there. Trying to replace a generational kicker. That's how you do it. Everyone else in the division kind of had a wet fart of a draft. We didn't have a crazy one. We got a 70 hidden dev kicker. Couple just average day 3 picks, to be honest with you. It wasn't over the moon about a lot of them. But Wilson, 71 hidden dev linebacker, developmental option. Drayton, 73 hidden dev linebacker. Again, just with the idea that we're not going to pay Mapu, we're not going to pay Dupree, so we can shift that money towards, the superstar center. We could shift that money towards Thomas. After the bye week, here in year 7, we sit atop the East, not running away with it, 4-2. Dolphins right there, 3-3. Same with the Buffalo Bills. However, the hell is going on with our passing offense? What I'm thinking is I got a little too cute by putting Woodley in at the slot over to Mario Douglas, so let's revert that, because we should know out of any franchise, slot wide receiver, very important to the Patriots. Hey, looking at our contracts here, $54 million. Mapu, Barmore, Douglas, Dupree won that edge rush money. Yeah, freaking right, dude. I think we get Thomas locked in. We got 3 years left of this rebuild, so let's get him on a 3-year. We'll go 8.5, 8.5. 3-year, 50 mil for the... Come on, Thomas! Come back. I think we get Stanton locked up, the superstar center for the remainder of the rebuild. We'll come back to Thomas next week. We give him an extra $500,000, but the fact that I made you, and you turned down my initial offer. What I ever do to you, bro? It's all about how you finish. We were worried about the offense. It all kind of regulated itself in the end. Put up a couple big-time performances in the back end of the season to bring up all those averages, and our 91 overall team wins our 3rd straight AFC East championship, our 4th in 5 years, 13-4 record. Didn't get the 1 seed, though, but I'm happy our team is rolling. All cylinders go. Drake Maye, the closest he has been to winning league MVP. 3rd in yards, 4th in touchdowns. I gotta imagine 2 seed, only 2 interceptions to go along with almost 500 yards rushing and another 3 touchdowns. But overall, our rushing offense, very good, headlined by another great season by Nicholas Singleton. Maybe surprisingly, we did not get an award winner. Nico Collins had a great year. 85 catches, 1,200 yards, 9 tuds, 1,012 for Douglas, 9-6 for Woodley, 7-4 for Mayer. So those are great numbers. If we can keep that up for the remaining 3 years of this rebuild, I'm going to be very happy. Defensively, Mapu, in what is likely going to be his final year as a Patriot, leads the team with 108 tackles. We got 17 sacks from Carter, 10.5 from Barmore, 6.5 Geraldo, 6 for Thomas to go along with 19 TFLs leading the team. Again, obviously for the memes, I would appreciate maybe at this point if Thomas is putting up those numbers that Carter is, but is what it is. I'm happy with both those guys absolutely crushing it. 3 picks, Christian Gonzalez leading the team. First round of the playoffs is against the 9-8 Indianapolis Colts that only really have a good run defense. I think this should be kind of a first-round layup for the squad, which it is. 35-10, we dispose of them. Divisional round, we have the Baltimore Ravens, who are also kind of pretty much similar. Not that great across the board. Pretty good run defense. I think we should be able to just keep on, and we lose. 31-28. Wasn't Drake Maye's fault. 4 touchdowns for Drake Maye. Damn. Gross. Even grosser. But as we do have some notable players leaving this season, we got a shout out to Mario Douglas. Finishes his Patriot career, 580 catches, 7,400 yards, 62 touchdowns all time. Hell of a story for, what was he, a late round pick out of Liberty. And on the defensive side of the ball, Mapu is bouncing. 763 tackles, 37 TFLs, 9.5 sacks, 10 picks. Barmore is bouncing. Finishes his career with over 500 tackles, 137 TFLs, 73.5 sacks. And lastly, we have Duke Dupree. Great value pick for us. I think we got him in like the 4th round. Almost a 90 outside linebacker, 300 tackles, 14 TFLs, 3 picks. Rolling into the 2031 draft. I focused on wide receivers this year, just because I knew we were going to be losing Mario Douglas. Board's gone. Had a couple first-round grade wide receivers that looked decent. I got Marquise Mentor, first, second round grade on the deep threat, 3 Bs and a C. Combine, pretty good as well. Wish there was an elite trait there outside of just change of direction, but you know, somewhat of a value pick for where we're at. There was a slot wide receiver down here that had double A's that I also scouted. McBath looks like he could be something. 3 Bs. Physical, though, so not necessarily a deep threat, small school player. Where's he at? Look at that. Steal, double A. And I mean, this guy could be something to Acosta. But there's our value pick of wide receiver, Malik Langley. I had A catching, traffic, A catching. He probably has, what, really good agility? Accelerations. I mean, there's our wide receiver pick. So we can kind of chill there. Man, we are potentially losing a lot. D tackle in the final year of his contract. Guard. Wide receiver. Corner. Jesus Christ. All right. We need everything. Marcus Edwards, if we're going to go corner, has the double A zone, B press, A catching. The man kind of sucks, but he has elite acceleration. Or safety. I think we got to go kind of best DB available. We have here with Montel Davis, the B man coverage role, 6'1". Ooh, that guy looks pretty good. Got the B man on also Michael Lippett. Combine, okay, that's where we're going to go, I think. Montrell Davis. This is the option. Let's go. Also, I'll be honest, we're talking safeties. I mean, we do have an X-Factor safety that's up that Mike Conehead wants to re-sign. But look at this, Dylan Moon. 3 Bs, zone, tackle, hit power, don't know what the man is. Combine great, first to the 40-yard dash. 3-cone, 20-yard shuttle, looks outstanding. So that's much like last year. We just kind of drafted to replace the linebacker room. We got ourselves a little bit of insurance in case our safeties both decide to do it. Because, you know, one's superstar, one's an X-Factor. Definitely can't pay both. Maybe can't pay even just one. Now it's time to draft our wide receiver that we've done the homework on, Malik Langley. It's not fair to say there's going to be a depth right here, but I think the rating is going to be pretty strong, like 74, 75. Somewhere in that range. Good depth here to replace what we lost in Troy Franklin and help with the loss of Demario Douglas. And take a look at our draft recap. You gotta love to see that. Got a 73 running back here in the 6th round. Clay Davidson, your classic power back that had a carry, a break tackle. Langley, well, no dev traits, 74. That'll do. But look at the safety hits. Montrell Davis, 77 hidden dev. Moon, 76 hidden dev. So year 8, we're at that point in time in the rebuild. Still very competitive, 5-2. One of the best teams in the NFL. Maybe even the front runners in the AFC. Everything's looking relatively good. Offensively, pretty great. Pass defense is struggling, which is a great segue into what is the doomsday period of this rebuild. It's been 8 years where we've been able to, for the most part, sign any and everybody that we want to keep. We are now at a spot where that is not going to be possible. Got to pick and choose. Owenu, can't pay $20 million for like a rental at tackle. Nico Collins, he's a wide receiver 1 right now. Michael Mayer, it's interesting. Hollenbach, I think we're at a spot here where you don't want to. Let's get Hollenbach locked in. Like, that's reasonable. That's actually somewhat of a discount, I think, for his talent. So we'll get him locked in. You know, Giraldo, good role player. Contract not brutal either to lock him in for the remainder. 80, like his ceiling's probably, what, 84, 85 come year 10. But we got to pick and choose here a little bit. We have drafted surplus at safety. The fact that Manning has no interest in re-signing, converted corner, I think that makes it a little bit easier. We prepared for life beyond Newsome. We drafted well there as well. So I think that at least just makes it so that Reese is the guy that gets paid first. And that's, somewhat reasonable. I think it's also reasonable for Newsome. An X-factor safety like this. If Moon's just a star dev, it's not fair to assume that we could just move right on. I think we offer him this contract. He's interested in staying. So Manning is kind of the odd man out. Gio Turner, he's looking for, that's a reasonable payday. And he's been a great player for us on the back end, so I think we re-sign him as well. Manning is the guy on the way out. Michael Mayer, production has never been incredible, so I think this is kind of going to be his last season with us. And I think we kind of wrap this out by keeping Nico Collins, come back to the table next week and see if he'll lock in for the remainder of the rebuild. Go the full 10 years. Took us another $500,000. We got him signed in for another 2 seasons. Year has concluded. We're back on top. AFC East, first round by the 1 seed into the AFC with the number 2 offense and a top 10 defense. We didn't end up having any award finalists, and we're starting to get to that point in time where maybe Drake Maye doesn't become the guy that can win a MVP, but still, hey, he's a guy that can win a Super Bowl, and that is all that matters in this one. Nicholas Singleton continues to crush it. We got a new RB2 in Kirkpatrick, and it's almost just like whatever the RB2 is, he's going to eat here in New England. So pretty happy with that. Nico Collins, glad we got him on a 2-year extension. Aging like a fine wine, still playing at a very high level. 1,300 yards, 9 touchdowns. Just under 1,009 for Woodley. Franklin with 700. Mayer, again, that's why I'm not in a big rush to re-sign Michael Mayer. He's kind of always just been a solid tight end. Sometimes he's played great. Sometimes he's gone up depth. He's actually gone up to superstar twice and lost it. But for the most part, it's probably best we move on and maybe shift all of our focus towards tight end in the first round. Drayton steps up with no more Mapu as they tackle machine, 118 tackles, 10 sacks, Abdul Carter, 9.5 for Elam, 5.5 for Geraldo, 4 from Thomas, who I don't know if I mentioned, lost his X factor, but still superstar. I mean, any development out of him is awesome, given where he started. So we're just happy he's here. Reese rewarding the big contract extension with 5 interceptions, the most picks we've got so far in a season from a single player. We got the divisional round here at Year 8. It is the Ravens, team that has given us trouble. They can run the ball well. They can defend well. But we are 5 overall points better. I think we're just at a different spot, and we fucking can't beat them. Why do they have our number? What is it about the meta of the Baltimore Ravens that has been a pain in our dick? Lamar crushed it. Our secondary did not. Our S-tier secondary, the best secondary we've had in a rebuild, can't shut down Lamar Jackson. That's tail of the tape. We are going to see Michael Mayer go, what he's been able to accomplish since we struck that trade with the Raiders at the very beginning of this rebuild. 5,700 yards receiving and 50 touchdowns. And we're moving on from Manning, who's been a great servant to the back end of our defense. Drafted as a superstar corner, converted to safety, 300 tackles, only 3 picks. Just interception numbers are so freaking low in Madden. It is what it is. So looking at where the team is this offseason, Woodley has surpassed Nico Collins as their wide receiver 1 on the depth chart. O-line looks outstanding, except a big hole at right tackle. Sometimes you can get those pretty affordable tackles on the open market. That's going to be my plan. We need a tight end. My plan right now is to just be aggressive and find the top tight end. There's usually at least 1 or 2 really good tight ends per draft class. Hopefully we can find it. When you look at the defensive side of the ball, both Moon and Davis, our 2 safeties, are star depth. Our linebackers look solid. Gonzalez lost his superstar. Thomas lost his superstar, but he's now up to a 91 overall, which I'm fine with. You can only have 3 X factors anyway, active at one time, so I'm happy that we got all 3 of those guys. And not a lot needs to be done on the defensive side of the ball. It's a tackle and a tight end, and I think we're ready to run it back. Those are the tight end we wanted in free agency, but as we let Mike Owenu hit the open market, he was looking for almost $12 million a year. We got a younger upgrade in Edward Trent. Much more reasonable for the final 2 years of this rebuild with a higher ceiling. I ended up scouting the top 3 tight ends here. Obviously, it wasn't what I said as my focus scout. We got Jeff Carson, 3 Bs, and at worst, it's going to be 4 Bs. 6'6", 267. Combine looks pretty good. 3rd, 4th round, too, so we could wait a little bit and maybe go else. We have Thurman Morris, who, again, is going to be in that area code of nothing below a B. A run block, 6'5", 245. Athletically speaking, a little less, but still looks like a very good tight end. Or there is the lone first-rounder, Johnny Spitzer, who looks even better. BB at worst, B and an A. And the combine is pretty... I need this guy. This is the guy that I need. Where is he going in the mock draft? I'm not saying that's Marcus House 2.0, but I'm saying that looks pretty damn close to what Marcus House looked like when we drafted him. But I'm going to assume that he's going kind of high. Ooh, not really at all. Hell yeah! All right. Don't fuck me over, mock draft. This works for me. I'm going to go sim right to my pick and trust the mock draft's not going to let me down. Like, I never would have traded up. I would have just assumed he's going to follow me. Not the fucking team in front of me. Oh, my God. I need to recollect myself here. Just a sec. All right, looking at who is up for a contract. I think we could look D-tackle. We could pivot. I don't think we're going to go to guard. Woodley's up for contract. So D-tackle, wide receiver, corner. Unbelievable that pick just happened. I got a tough call to make. We're going to pivot. We're going to wait on a tight end. So it's corner. We don't plan on re-signing Christian Gonzalez, so I think he's going to be pricey. 3 Bs and an A here for Jeremiah Yarborough. Second round, pretty much in range. Combine, elite acceleration, and agility. However, there's also a very, very good wide receiver prospect. A little worried about the dev trade, but we have Alex Gannon, 6'3", 220 out of Clemson. A, catch in traffic. B, release. I just would need a little more information. Because D, medium route running is kind of scary. We don't know what his deep route running is. It's capped at a B. Maybe there's a reason why he's falling, but the physicals look real damn good for a big wide receiver. Elite jumping, 4.42. It's an interesting call. I mean, even this guy, DeAndre Pope, what, you got 4.2 speed? I'll pivot you right now if you got 4.2. Fucking Raiders! All right, let's grab our tight end now before someone else takes him. And, of course, no dev trade. And I guarantee this guy the Raiders got is going to be an X Factor or a superstar or something stupid like that. God damn it. Sim out of this, man. The ultimate, just get me out of here, draft. Care about the trade offers? No, I'm not trading anybody. I'm in a bad mood. 273 normal devs is what we... I don't care what the rest of the division is. What is this guy? 75, please be normal dev. I can live with that. I can live with that. What about the other tight end? Were all these tight ends butt cheeks? Let me just confirm. I mean, there was that other one. We did scout the top 3. Is this alphabetical? What are we doing here? Where's T at? I know the alphabet. T should be showing up by now. Oh, my God. It's going to be at the other end. Show me the tight end. Oh, my God. Okay, we're coming up here. Was it Beltran? Spitzer, Carson, Beltran. So Beltran, 74. We had an opportunity to draft, and we passed on him for our normal dev. And I mean, I guess if it's a star, you know, cost of doing business. If it's better than that, just fucking botched it, man. Unreal. Week 8 of year number 9, and we're still great, even though we had probably our worst offseason to date. 5-1, sitting atop the East, but the Dolphins are making a run of it. They're going to be a pain in our ass, I think, for the whole season. It'll be very difficult to pull away, and if we slip up, we get cold near the end, I can definitely see them leapfrogging us to end our reign atop the AFC East. Here's what we were regretting. We have $9 million. So that means Christian Gonzalez, who's been great servant. Now he's regressing a little bit. He's corner 2. He gone. Kiera Elam. He's been a nice rotational guy. He gone. Jimmy Graham. Not that Jimmy Graham. Unless we get an influx of salary cap at the end, he gone. And I think even if we had enough money, we could gather up some funds. I think we got to go to Woodley because he has emerged as our wide receiver 1. I think he's going to do enough that he won't lose that superstar. So to be somewhat optimistic, maybe we get just enough at the end of the season to extend him. Holy shit! 16-1, and Drake Maye sucked. This might be like our best record yet in a 10-year rebuild. And anytime you do 16-1, you always want to just, I think when it gets that close, I mean, that one wasn't like a legit one. We got smoked by the Bills. But anytime you go 16-1, 17-0, you always just want to make sure, hey, there's no shenanigans going on behind the scenes. It's very organic. Everything I do, very organic. 16-1 with arguably our worst team of the last 3-4 years. Very surprising. But I do like the fact our salary cap has seemingly gone up to $42 million. That's good. That's an extension or two. Well, even though our passing offense is bad, Drake Maye still coming up on the MVP short. I think some of that probably has to do with 16-1. I mean, just the yards are down. He was second in the league in touchdowns. 3,300 yards, but 36 touchdowns to only 4 picks. Singleton crushed it. I think that's one of my better seasons. In these 10-year rebuilds, I've kind of shown the tendency never to pay running back, regardless of how good they are. We passed over on Nick Chubb, Trey Benson in the Browns rebuild. I was like, you know what, Singleton, he was only 20, so like at that time of a contract extension, he was 24. I was like, he's going to be lights out. And I think this is an offense. We're using the Browns offense, right? You get that Nick Chubb, he can absolutely eat. And that is exactly what we got from Singleton. Production dropped off and wide out just a little bit in terms of yards, but the touchdowns, you got to feel pretty happy about that. Defensively, Drake with a bunch of tackles, 14.5 sacks, 10 TFLs for Carter, 10 from Elam, 8 for Geraldo, 8 from the great legend Thomas, and in what is going to be likely his final year as a Patriot, shout out Christian Gonzalez with 5 picks. Showing the numbers here, in case it is the end, just under 700 total tackles, 14 TFLs, 19 picks in his career. And in the first round, we get the below 500 Cooper DeJean-led Jacksonville Jaguars. They have a very good defense, but I think it's going to take something pretty monumental to get in our way as we dismantle them 35-14. And luckily, we don't have to play the Ravens this year. Instead, we get a very game Texans team. Very good. Top 10 offense, top 5 defense. D'Amico Ryan's got those guys playing, so I'll show them respect of upgrading and making sure my guys are primed and ready to go with a chance of a 3rd Super Bowl appearance of the rebuild. For the 16-1 New England Patriots, we are able to win an ugly, low-scoring game. And how does it continue to be history repeating itself? First Super Bowl, we play the Giants, we lose. Second Super Bowl, we play the Eagles, we win all previous matchups of the Patriots, and then we play the Panthers. And I actually think when I was looking at it, it was either going to be the Panthers or the Rams. So we're just in this trend of history repeating itself for the Patriots. The Year 9 Super Bowl has been set. 16-1 Patriots, 11-6 Carolina Panthers, who bring a top 5 passing offense, a top 10 defense overall. I like to get a little scouting report here. Let's make them so good, huh? They got Bryce Young at quarterback, old man at this point, solid running back. Solid wide receiver room. They're 3 deep. Ayo Minor, real player from Stanford. They got an X-Factor tight end. That must be nice. Ike Ekwano's developed nicely. Their O-line as a whole, you know, that's a damn good O-line. No real weakness. They got Manny Estrada. They got the double Mannies at pass rush. Rook Orororo at D-tackle. And a superstar linebacker, Jerry Brewer, trying his best to be a Luke Kuechly replacement. They are very deep at linebacker. Still got Horn Dog back there. Love seeing that. I don't see Keith Taylor still doing his thing, but I mean, that's a solid team. But there's a difference between being a solid team and being an elite team. And being an elite team is 16-1 New England Patriots looking to go get their 2nd Super Bowl win of the rebuild. And we kind of said at the beginning of all these, we got to turn it into a dynasty. And by my personal benchmark, a dynasty is 3 Super Bowls. So we got a chance here to get those 3 Super Bowls. But it all starts by disposing the Panthers and being able to go on and win a Super Bowl in year 10. And luckily, we're able just to keep getting touchdowns, but starting to get a little worried here. We got, is this clock running? Yep, I knew it was. It's all, why is it all, that's how it needs to get patched, right? Because clearly, this is something they like to promote. Clearly, like, hey, play the moments. It's a very casual, friendly way to enjoy franchise mode. Okay. Well, how about we get rid of this thing that's been a bug for the last 5 years, where it's when I actually hop in and want to play the moments. Like, if I didn't know that, and I was just clueless, which sometimes, 90% of the time, I'm not on my vitamins when I'm recording. But if I am, that's something that's going to dupe me every single time. We got 6 seconds, potentially 2 chances at the end zone. Come on. Let's use the speed of Woodley. Speed of Woodley here. Get behind that linebacker. Oh, we needed that. Go into halftime. Only down 3. I believe we get the ball to start the second half, which is a punt. Come on, fellas. 4th and 3. You need me to come in again? I mean, we have this. We have the house rules. I can cash them in. We got a slant play. Can you cash it in? Are we getting pressed at the line? We are not. They're staying off coverage. Woodley, Collins. That's where we want to go. Our 2 primary go-to guys. Actually, we can go right in the slot here to Langley. Breaks a tackle. We'll get out of bounds. 1st and goal. Drake Maye has been dealing here today. 225 yards, 3 touchdowns. Finish this drive off. Tie this one up. Get the 1-point lead, actually. My math is not on point today. We get the instant touchdown right after Carolina scored. Turnover. Touchdown. And we should be able to see this one out. Oh, it's going to be close. They're going to make us sweat it, but not enough. In the end, Patriots seal the deal. 3-0 playoff run. Ending with a Super Bowl win versus the Carolina Panthers. So, I mean, who does that mean we got to play next? We got to play the Rams, right? We beat the Patriots have won the Super Bowl against the Rams IRL. Beat the Eagles. Damn, we don't need to gloat. We don't need to gloat. We already know what's going to happen. We're going to hoist this damn thing. We're now the most Super Bowl wins in NFL history for a single team. Franchise. And I can tell you, based off of what I saw, that man right there hoisting the trophy, another. Last time we won the Super Bowl, Drake Maye had 6 touchdowns. A 4-touchdown performance, even though Bryce Young was ridiculous. Another MVP for Drake Maye. Oh, damn it. I didn't even think that was an option. I didn't get to look at the career stats of Nico Collins. Fuck. He was awesome, though. I'll tell you what, he was definitely over 10,000 yards. Touchdowns, probably 60, 70, somewhere in there. Oh, that's so annoying. So annoying. My bad. We did get more money with the retirement, and we absolutely have to sign, even though we lost the dev trade on Woodley. You just, what good's is money if we don't try to spend it there? So we got Woodley locked up. 5th-year option on Drayton. That doesn't really matter. Elam's coming off a hot season. Gonzalez. Back up to a superstar, huh? What if we offer you like 7 and 9? 1 year, 16 mil. Fuck you. What a prick. Graham on the O-line, 2 year. Oh, okay. Falling apart. The team. Oh, I guess everyone just enjoyed winning the Super Bowl last year enough that they just want to move on elsewhere, I guess. That's how it works. So guard, tight end, wide receiver, corner are like the 4 spots I wanted to try to spend as much salary cap as we could. So we're able to get the veteran Pat Fryermuth at tight end. Jalen Polk, full circle, coming back, finishing at year 10 here with the Patriots. And we got a really nice looking guard here in Charles Lilly. 78 star dev, going to be a day 1 starter. And now with that, we go towards the draft, looking for a corner, which... one of the easier positions to draft, or I focus scout at wide receiver. If there's a dog at wide receiver, I'm ready to go sell out, trade multiple picks, be aggressive, find the best guy. To be honest, the only guy worth trading up right now is this guy. I mean, we did just sign Fryermuth, but 3 A's, and he runs a 4.46. Elite speed, jumping at 6'5", 2. I want him. I want him. He's a scheme fit. On top of that, corner, wide receiver, the other spots, we need a corner, but... speaking on the wideouts, not much there. Speaking on the corners, does look like a weak corner class. Parker could be all right, 6'4". Kind of fits that mold of player that we like. Ooh, that is pretty good too. Damn. I mean, I think we just got to go with the corner. Where is he projected to go? Can I grab you, Mr. Parker, without having to trade up? I suppose that's a lot. That tight end's going to be very good, but we got cover at tight end. We do not have cover. Oh, my God, he's going top 10. Jesus Christ. All right, let's trade up. I just asked them what they wanted. King's ransom doesn't matter to me. We are very much a team that is desperate, all in on a Super Bowl to make this thing a dynasty. So we are going to select a guy that's, we have drafted incredibly well. I'm not going to complain about how we've drafted, but the last couple drafts have not been our best, so I'm sure this is going to be a troll pick, and we just traded 3 first-round picks for a normal dev corner. At least like an 80 overall. Wow. Well, we were being reckless for a reason. We were being aggressive for a reason. But I think if you rank this with the all-time trade-ups that I've done in rebuilds, probably one of the worst. Brutal. What about that tight end? I think he went to the Saints. 79. Oh, he's freaking... This is Marcus House. 79 X Factor. You get a 4.46 speed tight end. Yep. So here it is, coming off a 16-1 Super Bowl winning season. This is our Patriots going into year 10, led by 99 Drake Maye, 99 Nick Singleton. You can see, well, we prioritized the offensive line, still at an S-tier level. I would imagine the best offensive line in the league. We got a rental there, Band-Aid, Stopgap, and Frymouth, our wide receiver room. We have Woodley, once upon a time was a projected UDFA, superstar wide receiver, kind of regressed a little bit, and I'm worried. We got Jalen Polk coming back, part of that original draft class that we started with. We got Langley, who very much like Woodley was in that like day 3 late draftable. End up being a pretty damn good pick, but you look at the depth traits. Not a lot of game changers at wide receiver, even though we have prolific, elite S-tier athleticism from Deontay Woodley. We need him to step up. He needs to have a breakout year. He needs to become a superstar for this push. On the defensive side, yep, the front D-line is still great. Abdul Carter, 99 X Factor. Thomas. Well, the depth traits have kind of gone. Still a big baller. Same with Newsom. Lost his X Factor. Wilson and Drayton inside. Drayton now a superstar linebacker, so I feel really good about those two guys starting for us. Davis is great. Reese, our 6'4", 96 X Factor corner, is locked down. Turner's a beast. And hey, we got the first round pick. Might be an underwhelming pick, but we need you to step up and contribute. We can't worry and dwell that you are just look like a goddamn bust right away. All right, you got to step up. You got to be a dog for us because we got to go become a freaking dynasty again. The second dynasty in the history of the Patriots franchise on the line here. If we can get that 3rd Super Bowl in year 10. And year 10, we've won the AFC East for a 7th time in 10 years. Very competitive, though. 3-way tie at the top, 11-6, 11-6, 11-6. But luckily able to find a way. Definitely not 16-1, but you look at the rankings. Number 1 offense, top 5 defense. We got that shot this dynasty. Drake Maye does not ever finish as an MVP. Still had a solid season, making the short list. He was 18th in yards, but top 10 in touchdowns. Only 5 interceptions. Also was able to chip in almost 400 yards on the ground. 3 touchdowns. Along with Hollenbach, who wins his 2nd Lineman of the Year award, our beast was Nicholas Singleton this season. Usually you don't see a running back in their 8th season have their breakout. I don't want to say breakout because he has some big years, but his best season, but 1,800 yards, 21 touchdowns, getting that Nick Chubb, Cleveland Browns rub from Nicholas Singleton this year. The offense ran through him. Langley, 1,100 yards, 10 tutties. Woodley, almost 1,000 yards, 11 tutties. So I love that those guys are stepping up. Polk with a respectable season. Same with Frymouth. Hollenbach gets Lineman of the Year, allowing 0 sacks. Same with our free agency signing, Lilly. Outstanding job by the O-line. But our big one is Defensive Player of the Year, as well as D-End of the Year, going to Abdul Carter. He absolutely crushed it defensively. Wilson led the team in tackles with Carter. 14 TFLs, 20 sacks, 16 TFLs, 10.5 sacks for Thomas. The pass rush was on point. The secondary, well, turnovers not bad, led by 4 by our former X-Factor safety, Newsom. For us to turn this into a dynasty, we got to go on a run. We got to run the gauntlet, start in the wild card round against a bitter division rival who have added Nick Bosa on top of Josh Allen. And the Buffalo, I mean, they look tough. Not only do they look tough, our team is limping into this year 10. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. We are a 90 overall, yes. But usually we've set a standard for ourselves with a 10-year rebuild to have super teams. And the fact is, it's just a really, really good team, but not quite a super team. We handle business. 31-10 over the Buffalo Bills. Happy to see that. Up next, we have the 11-6 Chargers. Top-ish 5 offense. Really good run defense, so they're going to try their best to take away Singleton, who has been an utter force for the Patriots this season. Borderline unstoppable. Averaging over 100 yards a game. And a chance at the championship. The team that stands between us is the Chargers, a team that historically has no playoff success. And we handle business for a blizzard against the Bengals. We're not talking about Dairy Queen. 10-7 Bengals, top 10 offense, the number 2 passing offense in the league. However, defensively, kind of butt cheeks. I don't know if it's even worth, but I'll give them credit. We all know they got Jamar Chase, and they end up getting another X-Factor wide receiver, Leslie Wheaton, who had a hell of a year. We'll show them enough respect to auto-upgrade our players to make sure that we are as full strength as we possibly can be as we look to try and make it to our 4th Super Bowl of the rebuild. Tough task. I mean, for to be this late in the rebuild, they're an 88 overall, so fully respect what they've built, but not enough. 28-16 with Langley and Reese getting players of the week. Reese with the pick. Langley, 70 yards, a touchdown, a little gadget run, 1-yard touchdown. And the Patriots in year 10 have an opportunity staring down the barrel at their 3rd Super Bowl. There you go, making this a dynasty. Successful. Check mark. Let's go. So ahead of the Super Bowl, before we ride off into the sunset, hopefully with the confetti coming down, the colors of the Patriots, let's look at our career stats here for this rebuild. It's Drake Maye, after 10 seasons, 40,000 yards passing, 331 touchdowns, only 63 picks, with 2 MVPs in the Super Bowl. 2 Super Bowls, very much setting a Hall of Fame type career. I think the same goes for Singleton. Almost 13,000 yards rushing, 119 touchdowns, and he still has 4 or 5 years left. You know, if he's averaging 84, even if that slowly starts to wind down, I mean, I'm seeing 15,000 yards, 150 touchdowns in his future. Another player, part of this Patriot dynasty that we're trying to achieve, that I think you got to consider Hall of Fame worthy. Polk has carved out a nice career, split time between us and bouncing around the league, 7,800 yards, 54 touchdowns for the former 2nd-round pick. Obviously, Frymouth did most of that damage with the Steelers, 3,800 yards, 33 touchdowns for Woodley, not bad. Singleton out the backfield, 2,300 yards and 19 touchdowns. Really wish I was able to see Nico Collins' final stats. That's a bummer. On the defensive side, Abdul Carter leads our team in tackles, TFLs with 129 and 118 sacks. We got 40 sacks from the new, I wish he stayed at X-Factor, but just for the pure memes and a little bit of a legend, Thomas. 40 sacks, 74 TFLs. We got 35 from Geraldo, 12 picks from Reese, 10 from Newsom, 7 from Turner. Ain't bad, man. They get a quick scouting report of our Super Bowl opponent, J.J. McCarthy, who is a 98 superstar quarterback and the Tampa Bay Bucks. They got 2 90 running backs. One is a superstar in Coleman. They got Eugene Wilson out of Florida. Love seeing that. Couple dogs there at wide receiver. No real game changer, though. 90 tight end. Okay, Tristan Wirfs is a 99. Dickerson. Kreutz. Jesus Christ. All right, so outstanding offensive line. Defensively, 282s and a 95 at pass rusher, 89 D tackle, linebacking core. I was gonna say not the best, and then they're the ones that got Duke Dupree, former Patriot. He knows a lot about us. Got a little bit insider trade in there. Tony Walls, our top corner at 93, 87, and 81, 90 superstar safety. I mean, what is their overall? They better. I would not be surprised if they had a better team overall than us, like a 91. How is that only an 88? But, I mean, 2 S-tier teams. Let's go do it. Let's go win this off, cap it off with a dynasty. Let's go, fellas. One opportunity. Cue up the emotional, remember the name music, you know? You want to go down as just a great team, or you want to go down as one of the dynasties of this 10-year rebuild series. Here in Madden 24, it's right in front of you. And we start with a touchdown and a field goal. Opening score, and the defense just suffocating J.J. McCarthy and the Bucks. Let them get a field goal there late, but we get a second touchdown early. What an outstanding job from the defense. A touchdown late in the 3rd for the Bucks. 2 straight scores for the Bucks. They're tied up at 17. Working our way downfield. We got a 3rd and 1. Now, I already know that this is going to chew the clock to the 2-minute warning. It's going to make me pissed off. But that's just what we know and love about the Super Sim. That quick clock, that fast clock. Makes you be on your toes. I appreciate that. Because sometimes I'm recording this in the morning. I'm not as fresh. I'm not running the ball on 3rd and 1. Because we are going to go curls X go. We are going to watch them press our 99 speed, 99 acceleration. With very little. We got to watch that safety. But I think right there, float it right in. And Tyreek Hill 2.0. Mini Tyreek Hill. You got to respect. You got to put the safety right over top. Because we'll take advantage. We missed the extra. Luckily, it was a turnover on 4th down because we missed the extra point, and that would be an all-time way to lose that. But luckily, the Patriots defeat the Bucks. A little bit of a Tom Brady Super Bowl right there for the man that has succeeded Tom Brady. That is also a gauntlet that we just ran, going from the wild card round to win our third Super Bowl. Ergo, making this Dynasty rebuild successful. 3 Super Bowls, went to 4, lost one against lost one against the Giants, which I still don't know how we lost that one. But through 10 years, with Drake Maye at the helm, the shiny new, brand new quarterback from the fallout of the 2024 NFL Draft for the New England Patriots, if they could even achieve half of what we were able to achieve in this 10-year period, Drake Maye is easily going to etch his name right up there with Tom Brady as one of the all-time great quarterbacks in Patriot history, in NFL history. I'd probably, just for argument's sake, because we've given hypothetically this metaphorical MVP to Maye last 2 times, I'm giving this one to Singleton because he's been a very important, integral part of this franchise, of this rebuild, of our success. But there we go. Success completed. Dynasty done. Year 10 in the books. That will do it here today, fellas, for our 10-year Drake Maye New England Patriots rebuild. Let me know in the comment section below from the fallout of the 2024 NFL Draft, which rebuild do we do next? Jaden Daniels and the Commanders, Michael Penix and the Falcons, Bo Nix and the Broncos. Do we do any of the other teams? I already know people want to see me do Philly. We're going to do Philly eventually with DeJean and Quinyon Mitchell. We're going to have fun, but let me know in the comment section below which team you guys want to see rebuilt next. McCarthy with the Vikings. Even though we've already kind of done that, we can check that out as well. But let me know. If it is your first time stopping by, don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button. Smash the like button if you enjoyed it. Until next time, it's your boy C4 saying peace out. Love ya. Have a good one.